Hold on, sorry. This audio is all jacked up. No!
Oh no.
What
Oh,
happened?
no, what do you? That's not good at all. What do you
happened?
mean? What did happen?
Oh my god. Why me? Why today?
You know why, Lewis.
Fuck
You
is
know why,
going
Lewis.
on?
This is. I hope. Say hello.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Untitled Esports Show. My name is Gutex, and I'm here trying it one more again with my favorite esports veteran, Zoreen, and the number 19 esports consultant slasher who's
Thank
just
you.
arrived back to
Yeah.
New York. We had a great week in LA for E3. How's you guys' recovery been?
Well, okay. I want everyone out there at home. Our audio problems are fixed. For that crazy shit that you heard at the beginning, that sounded like a ghost is gonna come fucking kill you. But unfortunately, anyone listening to the show right now might not.
Yeah, if you weren't here,
it.
Yeah, if you didn't catch it when it was live, you'll never know about the audio issues. We got. We want to thank XSplit for powering this podcast. We want to give a quick shout out also to Blue for providing this sweet microphone. These sweet headphones. You guys, I think if you'll be home tomorrow, FedEx will finally deliver your packages.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
With the new Blue microphone, you seem to have gone down at a whole
a whole octave.
I would say 4 octaves. Wow. Or as our producer Lewis would say, it sounds like you're on a slow version of yourself. You're on a slower speed. You're going to like 80%. Like if we open you in VLC and you put you at 80, that is what you would be now.
You're tuned in to the smooth stylings of the Untitled Esports Show. We're going to play some of your favorite slow jams tonight. Call in and dedicate this esports song to your favorite esports significant other.
That actually sounds like an actual audio. What's the word? Vox pop for like some radio advert. Like I would not have known the difference if you had played it to me. That's crazy.
Well, thank you. I've been practicing. And
that new mic clearly is doing wonders for you. It was worth every penny.
Thank you.
When Blue Microphones comes to me, it's going to be all on between me and Gutex here. And who can swoon the esports ladies the most?
Well, Rod, ASMR is the future. And so we're just trying to play catch up.
Clearly. Speaking of catch up, I'm still trying to catch up on my sleep and rest from E3. So
poor baby. Oh, it's so retired.
Must be nice going to E3 for fun and not having any obligations.
Well,
hey, Serene, I have a question. I have a question for you. What was your pass for? that you went to E3 for? I'm just curious. I'm just curious what it was registered on when you had to go into E3 and like show security up front, because they like check your ID and then we get your pass and like shows like who you're for. Who was it?
It's funny you asked me that, Rod, because I actually shot a whole bunch of content for Cross Counter, and it'll be coming soon to the YouTube channel and perhaps on social media as well when it's all done. So I would say actually I probably shot way more content than you did for Cross Counter.
You did. You definitely did, because I shot 0 content. I did literally no work at E3. That part is true.
Actually, no, it's not.
I just
You did do the podcast. I'll give you that. You were on the podcast.
yes, I do carry this shit. Obviously, that's funny. But I just wanted to know because I heard some things. Zerine, about you and Cross Canner. I don't know from who.
Uh-huh.
I got my sources. Okay, I got my sources. But maybe you didn't do so much more work than I did this weekend.
Oh, really? Now, that's news to me. Your sources might have led you a little bit astray, Rod, or maybe you're just choosing to believe the narrative that you want to. That is more convenient for you.
Look at Zorine. If there is one thing that I know for certain about Slasher is that he always believes the official narrative. Questions nothing. This is, in true journalist fashion.
I am a believer. I'm a
Slasher believes all you got to do is say this is the official narrative. So whatever you tell him, Zorine, you just need to tell him
just say it's the official.
I wish we could start the show with what has led to what Ryan is talking about right now. There's a specific conversation that we had and a night that we had, which has led to what he's talking about.
2 nights. Okay.
It's true. 2 nights.
Look, I don't want to, I'm just going to preface this by saying, I don't care what we talk about. I'm just happy to spend time with you guys and share that with the people. So I don't want to go super deep into it if you don't want to, but I will if we have to. 2 nights ago, Slasher was on the Trainwrecks Scuffed podcast on twitch.tv/TrainwrecksTV, a show that I've frequented many times.
And Gutex came on.
Yeah,
for a bit.
I just popped in, said what's up. But one of the times that I went out there, that I just sort of nicely asked Rod to, please keep it down because it was like 2 a.m. He looked at me and he's like, "Bro, like, do you believe this shit? This guy, tell me the name of the guy."
Zerka, John Zerka. He's a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, so John Zerka, I don't know who he is, but he's also on the show. And Slasher mutes the mic, looks at me, and says, "I'm so fucking triggered right now because Zerka is saying that 9/11 was an inside job." And I'm like, Rod, 9/11 was 100% an inside job. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And then he's like, look, people who think 9/11 was an inside job are also anti-vaxxers, and they think the world is flat. And I was like, bro, 9/11 was an inside job. Vaccines, I don't have a strong opinion on, and the world is round. And okay, that was 2 nights ago. And I just thought
this is true. This is true. Yes.
Yeah. And so I was just like,
yes.
All right, well, whatever, dude. Like, I'm going to sleep. Somehow it came up in conversation yesterday. Again, he wanted to talk about this 9/11 was an inside job thing.
Well, because the show ended up going for like a few hours about these few topics on Trainwrecks' show, and I got I got so fucking triggered. Yes.
Yeah. So somehow we're talking about it again the next day, last night, and we, Slasher took me out to dinner. We went to Shake Shack. It was, we went to go get a drink afterwards, but somehow we're still talking about it.
I gotta wine him before I dine him,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Stay tuned for the Esports dating consultant show.
It's actually a real thing.
And so then we're at the bar, somehow still talking about it. I'm like, look, dude, what do you think about Tower 7? And he's like, what do you mean, Tower 7? I'm like, dude, Tower 7 is like, to me, the most, the biggest piece of evidence that there is more to the story than the official narrative. And he's like, that's no. And I'm like, bro, if you don't know enough about Tower 7, then you don't really have all of the evidence. Therefore, you don't know the whole story. Therefore, you don't know everything. And then we asked 4 different people, random people throughout the night.
Yes,
9/11 inside job, and
first the
all of
bartender.
them. All of them.
First
Said,
the bartender.
Yes, 9/11 is an inside job. 2 or 3 of them also cited Tower 7.
Wow. And this was here in Los Angeles.
Yes. And
yeah, and you know what? Okay, you know what I'll say? One of them was the bartender who did also believe that the Earth is flat. One of them was our Uber driver back to Ryan's apartment, who, when we were stopping, and then we asked after we got out if there was 9/11, she said absolutely. Then she started ranting to us about vaccines and how they're giving her kids autism, so she hasn't vaccinated her kids since they were, I believe it was like 13 or whatever it was, and they don't have a bunch of stuff because they're causing her kids to get illnesses or whatever. So I'm just saying that the people that we did, everyone that we asked actually said that it was an inside job. He's not lying. That really did happen. Literally every person we asked agreed with him. I'm just saying there were other things happening while this was going on to show that people are fucking idiots. People are fucking stupid. I actually can't believe what happened that night yesterday.
And the bartender said the same thing that I did, which is that if you don't know all the evidence, he made the analogy. He's like, you're trying to paint by numbers, but you're missing like one of the colors. Basically saying you need to educate yourself. And then, the best part was when all of them told him to watch YouTube videos, and he's like,
every single person was like, yeah, man, you gotta watch this one video, and you gotta watch this second video. And on the Trainwreck show, for 2 hours, it was Zerka giving Trainwreck's videos to play on the show. Like, for at least 2.5 hours of the Trainwreck show was Zerka giving him videos, and everyone that we went out with were like, yeah, you gotta watch this fucking YouTube video by this government denier 87433 on YouTube.
Again.
We gotta watch all his videos, bro.
Again, I still maintain that if you don't know enough about Tower 7, then
I don't.
You're not,
okay, and I did.
Then you need to educate yourself. And it's okay. You can, do your own research, your own non-YouTube research on Tower 7. And if you come back and say, well, look, Ryan, I did the research, I've analyzed the evidence, and I still don't, it doesn't change my mind. I say, okay, that's fine, dude. Agree to disagree. But Tower 7 is so huge that if you don't know, if you don't look into that, then you really haven't examined all of the evidence. That's all I'm saying.
Serene?
I just really wanted us to never talk about this on the show because
Zorene's an immigrant from Australia, and she's worried that the esports bubble is going to pop and she's going to get sent back to Australia.
No, Ryan, I was trying to protect you from saying stuff like this on the show. I don't think people are ready to hear this. What do you mean?
Ryan's telling the truth, though, right?
Oh my god. Agree to disagree.
Wait, that's not how Twitch works, sorry. You don't say agree and disagree. This is going to be the most lit show we've ever had.
All right, look, I don't want to be playing by your Twitch rules or whatever, all right? So let's just agree to disagree. I don't think the Earth is flat, and I don't think that 9/11 was an inside job, and leave it at that.
What about Tower 7, okay?
I will
Ryan's been talking to me all about fucking Tower 7.
I watch all your YouTube videos that you link me later tonight, okay?
Thank you, Zorine.
I will watch everything.
This is why Zorine makes the big esports bucks, because she's willing to keep an open mind, analyze the evidence, and then, come back later, as opposed to you, Rod, who insists on staying closed-minded, even though multiple people who didn't know each other all told you the same thing. Do your own research on Tower 7. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. You know what? The best the people that know the most are the ones that definitely watch like 200 recommended videos in a row on YouTube about how 9/11 was an inside job. Those are always the people that I believe are the most reputable on this topic that I go to hear the facts, the real shit, the things that mainstream media aren't talking about. The things
remember
that
what the bartender told you?
Remember
the bartender told you that he would
narrative.
Remember the bartender told you I would send you some links to some books, but I know you won't read them. Remember?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I think the Bible's bullshit too, if it makes you feel any better. And that's a really great book. I mean, that book is like super entertaining. It's definitely like they should have turned the Bible into a fucking hit movie by now. I mean, we had Passion of the Christ, and that really like did so well. But we really need like Bible the movie, and you know how much money that shit would fucking make. The amount of like sequels there can be, the legacy of that book. You can go from First to Second Testament, pre-Old Testament. You can do all types of shit. Really, religion is a multi-billion-dollar movie industry. Someone's just got to man the fuck up and do that shit.
It has stood the test of time. You know why? Because people read books, and he called you out and said that you wouldn't read a book, and that's why he recommended other sources of information.
Okay, the first thing everyone says is YouTube videos, and only that guy mentioned books after saying YouTube videos, and I'm sure
I said look for the evidence yourself, dude. Anyways,
video games.
It's less about what you think happened, and it's more about analyzing evidence for yourself.
Yes, the Bible cinematic universe, I think.
The BCU.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. Okay. Anyways, so E3.
So, okay, you know what? All I've learned is that everyone should research Tower 7. I want everyone to do their homework here in chat. Everyone, all of you in chat, your work is from next week is to know about Tower 7. And
all right. Okay. There'll be a quiz.
Or right now. I mean, you could probably learn about Tower 7, in a half an hour. Can't be that hard. I mean, right?
All right. We'll circle back.
I just want to say that the first thing in Google when you search for Tower 7 is an article that's the World Trade Center 7 report puts 9/11 conspiracy to rest.
Look at you doing your research. I'm so proud.
Dan, that took like all of 10 seconds to deny everything that you just said. That was
typical slasher doesn't bother to read the fucking article.
Headlines only, baby.
Yeah, headlines only.
Headlines only. You ain't got time for facts, evidence, figures. No, we fuck that. Who's got time for that?
World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires fueled by office furniture. It did not collapse from explosives or from diesel fuel fires.
Case closed.
Well, it was made by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They released a report after it took them 16 years to make the damn report.
Anyways.
So that was good. I mean, that was a lot of research. I feel like we've come to a mutual conclusion that like the last 3 hours of that Trainwrecks podcast was totally unnecessary, along with the entire thing about
this the last 20 minutes of our show, you mean?
No.
Very good.
No, this is important. This is good conversation.
The real takeaway, Rod, is that regardless of what you think about 9/11, the question 9/11 inside job, yes or no, is probably the best pickup line known to man. Because
he is
everybody opened up, had something really, thoughtful to say. They got, into the discussion. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
I think I'm gonna tell Jackie O. I gotta tell Jackie O, hey, you know that dude you're trying to hit on at Starbucks earlier? You should have asked him if 9/11 was an inside job, and you definitely would have got you would not have. He would have done all the talking for you.
yeah, I mean, we were talking to two different girls at the bar. The fucking woman in the Uber like wanted us to stay in her Uber after she let us out because she wanted to keep fucking talking about this so damn much. So Ryan is
Wow.
correct. Um,
Maybe in America, I think Americans get really into this topic. Not sure if Canadians would. Australians definitely wouldn't.
Okay, maybe
yeah,
that's
well,
a USA only pickup
Mm.
line.
yeah, I mean, because Australia doesn't matter enough for anyone to go attack it, so we would never have come up in
Jesus
like
Christ.
larger international discussion about like
Hey,
this
watch
way.
what you say about that country. You're gonna start an international incident.
Hey, you're a whole continent, all right? You're not just a country. That's important. Makes you unique and totally all the way out there, literally, all the way out there.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyways, it was a fun E3. I had a good week.
To be clear, the 9/11 is an inside job was not most of E3. I did stay with Mr. Gutex here. Thank you for letting me stay with you. I really had a great time. It was really awesome to go out to E3, see all of you guys, do the show together out there, and then hang out and go eat. We saw Travis Gafford, who I believe is doing Hotline League right now. I believe he's doing Hotline League right now.
We should call in.
Oh, is he doing call-ins right, dude? Do you want to call in on our show?
I
think we
would
should.
love.
Let's do it.
I would love to call into Travis's show and
Right
ask
now?
him for the tail
Right
end
now.
of the story.
Okay, yeah, right now,
'Cause
right
here
now,
was
right
the
now.
other thing.
Colin.
I don't know
We
how
have
to.
I think
how
you
do
have
we
to
do
join
that?
you have to join his Discord, and then they have a system so that people can't just dial in randomly. Like you have to get
Wait. I'm in the Discord. So here. I'll
Ask
they have
ask
to
him
move you
how.
in manually. Sorry.
yeah, whatever. I'll bug all the mods. We're good.
Yeah. Well,
He'll never
here's
see
the
it
thing.
coming. He'll never see this shit coming. Hold on.
Here's the thing. E3 didn't end for me on Thursday. E3 kept going. Honestly, I feel like it's still fucking going because of the sheer amount of follow-ups that still have not been sent. But
Mhm.
the follow-up on Friday was the follow-up with Travis because me and Rod and met up with Travis, caught
Yeah,
up.
TFTI, by the way. Seriously, guys? I was like, hello.
No, I'm
to
pretty
Hollywood, Zoreen. We knew you were busy. Wait,
That's not the point.
Here's the thing. You gotta
You had
wait. So first off, Zoreen, you couldn't. We went in the middle of the day. It was lunchtime.
So you're saying it actually crossed your mind to potentially ask me to come to lunch, but you were like, nah, she has a job.
because when I think about people to hit up, I don't think about people with day jobs because I know they can't come anyways.
I can duck out for an hour.
You're not going from where you around that area to downtown at that time. It's just not happening, Zoreen.
All right, fair. Fair.
The real thing is that me and Rod and Travis, it was boys. You know, it was like a boys' night except during the day.
I'm sure you had a lot of fun during your.
I had a fucking blast. Oh my god.
I really did too.
Travis is
beautiful.
Just
anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Honestly, at the end of our meeting with Travis, I could not think of anything more apt than anything is possible with Travis Gafford. And we can't really give out details because it was definitely a private conversation.
It was a private conversation,
but
I really understood. I had a fucking blast.
But
I really understood why. I really understood why he makes that Alienware esports money. I was like, this motherfucker is a genius.
I do feel like calling in and asking on the air to give an update is awful, cruel, also hilarious. I still kind of want to do it.
I mean, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it.
Dude, every time I go to his Discord, my Discord crashes.
It's a sign.
You're
As-
banned. You're actually banned from his Discord.
No, it's just like
He had a wildly entertaining story, and I think next week on this episode we're going to. And Zoreen, actually, we even though you weren't there, we thought about you.
yeah,
And-
no, Zoreen,
Oh.
we've tried to hang out with you, and all I'm going to say is, of course, not for the show. You've been hard to get in touch with. Okay, you've been a little bit unavailable lately, Zoreen. Okay, and I know you've also been busy with E3, but I'm going to say that not all of it was E3.
Well, anyways,
All right, now you're gonna put me on
back to the
blast here.
I'm just saying that we have reached out. I have reached out to you to hang out when I was in LA, like more times, and you just seem to be busy with
Next
stuff
you did
all
this.
the time.
You did- Oh, let's not forget the time that you mysteriously abandoned me at the Twitch party, and I was left outside waiting for you to let me in. I was like the
Wait,
sad abandoned
why did
puppy
you-
outside.
I don't get it. Why would you need Slasher to get you in when you told me that you could get me into the Twitch party? How does that work?
Ooh, ho, 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 ho.
Things got a bit complicated at the entrance of the Twitch party, Ryan. I just want you to know that I would never have abandoned you there, no matter what.
So Rod left you outside.
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
I needed to.
Yeah,
Make
he's not
sure-
even trying to deny it. He knows it's true. It all comes out.
I might have been a little bit distracted at the
All right.
time.
Wow.
But-
The official narrative. I believe it. Makes perfect
The
sense to
source
me.
himself.
Yeah, exactly. I've analyzed all the evidence.
I like that we're airing like all our dirty laundry on this show.
Problem
This
is, we
really
can't
good.
say a fucking thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
what
neither, as much as
what we
say.
can say is that when we were hanging out, when it was me, Rod, and Travis, we came to the conclusion, or at least I came to the conclusion, that we could probably add a segment on this show that is some sort of question, an esports dating. I mean, it's not really esports dating, but some sort of dating relationship question segment, because I feel like that is a need that this community, I don't just mean esports or FGC or even gamers. I just mean like
Oh no,
people-
yeah, I do. Gamers. Gamers
It's not just,
specifically.
that's what I'm saying. It's
No,
not
it's
just
not.
gamers.
No, it's not.
not-
But really, no, really though, gamers, it's for you guys. You guys in chat, because we don't have girls in chat. You dudes,
Hey,
all of you,
you know
fucking
what?
dudes in chat, this is for you.
don't forget people who go to conventions, anime, anime expo, like the whole thing. Don't forget about those people.
Hey, and
Yeah,
but
they're
we
also-
thought that
there are women who listen to our show.
besides your mom.
She definitely does not listen to this show.
Dude, when you
Well-
laugh, it's so fucking different. I can't actually
Oh,
get
no.
over.
Hear anything? I don't even have headphones here that can plug to something
Oh,
where
you
I
can just
hear
hit
what I
up the
sound
Twitch
like.
archive afterwards and
All right. All
and
right.
experience the magic for yourself.
All right. Well, anyways, we just thought that you might be able to provide an interesting, different perspective, because apparently Rod and I share the same brain when it comes to these things.
Well, if you didn't know, Ryan, we both have a penis, and Zoreen doesn't, and usually that
Correct.
usually-
But the between the three of us, two of us agreed on things and one of us didn't.
Yeah.
oh, that is true.
Yeah. So
Between
even
me,
though
Travis, and Gutex, that is
correct.
Yeah, two of us agreed on everything, just about, and one of us did not. And you can leave that up to yourself to determine who the one would be. And because of that, I really wanted to talk to Travis again. We haven't been able
I
to.
know.
We've
know.
tried hanging out with Travis in the last few days, and he wouldn't come out. He wouldn't come to hang out. He didn't want to go out anywhere. And now he's doing Hotline League, and I feel like he had like Hotline Love, right? For
Valentine's Day, yeah. he
Yeah,
has
I feel like he needs to bring back a special episode immediately.
featuring us.
yeah, you get the love doctors right here.
Because obviously, as you two know me, I am a fucking in prime position to be giving other people advice on their relationships and
Oh yeah, all three of us
situations.
are apparently.
Yeah,
So.
we really all are all doing really good that way.
You're right. It's the fucking blind leading the blind around here. All right. Well, we're gonna lead into the next topic if you guys are done talking about E3 and what a blast it was and how productive it was.
We haven't talked about anything about E3.
Oh,
and do you know what the
all
point
right.
is?
Well, look.
And
All right.
do you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why, Ryan?
Why?
Because that is the point. E3 is pretty much dead. As someone who's gone to now over maybe 10 E3s, I haven't gone in a while, but I used to go, from anywhere between 2004 or 5 to 2013, 14. I went home just about every year. And the show is still very important in terms of the announcements that comes out, because the Xbox Microsoft press conference got, I think, 3 million concurrent viewers over like Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer. So there's still a lot of people that are watching these things. There's still tons of media coming out. There's still, a lot of buzz coming around from the things that are being announced there. But in terms of people being at the event and the show floor, I've never seen the convention center more empty. Like, never in my life has there been less people at the event who actually care about what's going on. It's so easy to like walk around, and that's not, I guess that's like a good thing, but really in the old days, you couldn't move. You couldn't move on the show floor because there was just so many people. And we are so far from that it really feels like this is the year that showed E3 is dead. It'll still have the significance in terms of like all the announcements and all that. But I think, people like Sony pulling out entirely is not a bad idea going forward.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers, last year it was like almost 70,000 people, and this year it dropped down to 66,000. So, and you said that, a few years ago it was like you couldn't move. That was like before the show went public even. Like that was when it was still an industry show. So, I think the absence of PlayStation was a big one that stood out to me. Definitely not having their booth there and their presence at all during the show, whether it be conferences, announcements, or anything. That felt like a big like void at E3 to me. And even in general, I don't know if it's because I still get excited about E3 and I love it a lot, but maybe it's just because there's no games coming up that really excite me. But there was nothing there that really made me feel like, oh, like this is the big one at E3, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just there's like no good games right now or something, or maybe the show actually is losing its appeal and its luster. That being said, though, I still am glad that I went and was very happy to have a chance to, talk to people and, film content and, catch up with folks such as yourselves.
Yeah, this was me and E3's 10-year anniversary. I didn't really notice how packed the show floor was or wasn't. I don't think there was a single announcement that I cared for at all. But then again, I don't go to E3 because I want to try the new Final Fantasy. I want to go to E3 because I got, I'm just there to do business, and I don't care. For me, it was actually better. This might have been the best E3 ever. So for me, E3 is more relevant now than it's ever been. But I also, like, what was I expecting? Did I think that there was going to be something that I gave a shit about game-wise? Absolutely not. Did I care that there were less people? I honestly didn't notice it was less crowded. For me, it was just about hustling sponsorships. We had so many meetings. There was a lot of meetings at the JW. I felt like a grown up. I had meetings, like we had places to be, and like I actually felt pretty good. I felt like I went undefeated in meetings and in meetings and sponsorship talks and stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah, for me, it was great. I'll be back next year. E3 has actually raised the notch. I will say though that the opening up to the public and having the gamer badges and restricted hours and the orange scarlet letter thing is so dumb and so unnecessary, especially. But hey, you know what, Rod? Like maybe that's why you thought the show was not that crowded, because maybe all of the people that had the gamer badges either purchased or through a company that hooked us up, like hooked me up, like for example Bandai Namco. Shout outs for the gamer badge to the gamer badge, but I think E3's really got to sort of reevaluate this sort of like second class citizen type of thing with the badges. But overall, it was a blast. The new face of Cross Counter TV, Zorine, shot a bunch of content. She, it was that stuff is going to be edited, put on the channel. Yeah, a lot of great things that would not have happened if I didn't show up. So
yeah, and I definitely want to go next year. And like I've only ever gone to E3 for work, so I hardly ever get to see the show floor, and that didn't really change this year either.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. It's not just you.
But yeah, definitely it was nicer to be able to walk around without like people and crowds like blocking the way majority of the time. So yeah.
Well, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
so it's fine.
Miss anything?
Apparently not.
I don't think you missed anything. I think I was also pleased with myself that I didn't care at all about parties and anything like that, because I'm just like, had to be an adult. I think that's the main takeaway.
Being an adult is important.
Well, great. That doesn't make E3 any fucking better. You can be an adult, or not. It's not going to make the goddamn event be any more meaningful. There was nothing really esports that happened. There was like,
Are you sure? Because according to Zorine's Twitter, the E in E3 stood for esports. I wish I could pull that one up, but yeah, there is. Well,
hilarious.
I mean, if you believe the Newzoo numbers, like there must be some reason that there wasn't a whole lot of esports stuff going on with. There wasn't a whole lot of esports stuff going on. So what is it? That esports is dying? Newzoo exaggerates the numbers, or E3 is done and nobody cares about bringing esports stuff to E3?
Neither.
Because actually, this
Both
year.
of those are.
They normally, you guys remember last year, or you weren't there, Rod, but last year, I'm pretty sure last year and the year before, over in the LA Live area, they had the Esports Coliseum thing.
Yes.
That was now a GameSpot thing, and that place
Yes.
was empty, super empty.
Well, there was also the esports arena, like not like the esports arena, but there was like an arena, and I think it was called the esports zone that was set up in the main hall. And I went to check it out because it was like this rather large section that they kind of sectioned off. And when I went, it was a collegiate tournament that was happening for Smash Bros. So that was interesting, but it also like it wasn't super full. I'd say maybe like 2/3 of the seats there were packed with like audience people watching. But interesting that they had an esports zone now part of the actual like main show floor. I took some pictures if you want to see it later.
Yeah, wow, that would have been great coverage that we could have popped into this episode, Zoraid. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you would have seen it yourself, but clearly
Yes,
not.
Bro, how am I gonna see the show? I'm hustling. I'm doing meetings at the JW all week, man. Like I don't.
That is all I was doing too. Meetings and shooting.
Oh
and
yeah,
shooting
I saw you. Actually, I saw you there.
Yes.
I meant to ask you about that. Fuck, can't talk about anything on this show. Bullshit.
Sorry, we talk about it a lot afterwards. After it.
That's not any fun. The fuck are you talking about?
All right.
Anyway, that was really E3. Not jack shit didn't happen. No one fucking cares. That's my take. And maybe also don't film yourself in the bathroom. That's probably the main thing that you want to learn from this E3.
Actually, speaking of that, you should, if you haven't already, you should check out the archive of the special episode we did of the Untitled Esports show during E3. The three of us got together in a room. We were physically within each other's presence and did a live, well, it's always live, but we did like a special version of our podcast.
It was
so definitely
magic.
watch. It was pretty lit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Maybe we can do that again at Evo.
There's an idea.
All right. I'm all E3'd out. All right, moving on.
I don't
big,
even.
yeah, big. It seemed like it was big news. It seemed like it's big news.
What? It is. Sorry.
Amazon. Yeah. So Twitch. There used to be a social networking platform called Bebo, and Twitch bought it. And they made the announcement this morning. I was like, they had made the announcement like 10 minutes before I saw it. I was like, I didn't even know Bebo. Well, number one, I didn't know what Bebo wasn't like the first time around, and I certainly didn't know that Bebo was still around. But apparently, Twitch bought Bebo for $25 million so that Bebo could help stream Twitch rivals.
So it's up to 25 million, I believe, and then I think it's like not. I don't know if it's to stream Twitch rivals specifically,
It's
but
to help organize it.
The wording that
And
they
run it.
used was to help, yeah, like do that, and also something to do with like help social media promotion. But it's weird because I went to the Bebo site right after I saw this announcement, and it didn't load, and now it's just completely dead. So I have no idea what functionally Bebo actually looks like. If there's anyone in the stream chat who has used Bebo before or is able to shed some light on its functionality, that would be helpful. But it's interesting that Twitch acquired, this relatively, I want to say relatively unknown social media platform for like such a large amount of money.
Anything is possible. I remember Bebo was a social networking platform, but it never caught on in my corner of the internet. But I guess now they've been, trying to do these tournaments, and they keep on. This is the part that actually kind of bothers me about the whole thing, which is why it's actually kind of confusing. But both the TechCrunch article as well as this Lit Gaming Arena article, they both refer to OBS and XSplit as streaming platforms, and both XSplit and OBS are it's just software. There is no platform component to XSplit or OBS, but Bebo is definitely a platform and a social networking site. I guess I'm just whatever. It's just semantics, but I think this is part of why it's so confusing. But Bebo itself has such an interesting history because they were acquired for $850 million by AOL in 2008, and then after that didn't work out, it was sold to some other company named Criterion Capital for $25 million, and then the founders bought it back in 2013 for $1 million, and now they have come up again $25 million from Twitch. I am so impressed at these guys' ability to make deal after deal on a site that nobody knows anything about. It's actually quite impressive.
That's yeah, they made bank off that like twice.
It really is. I know the Bebo guys are actually watching right now because.
Oh, cool! Hey, Bebo guys, let us know what you guys actually do. And more importantly, let me know. Let me see. I want to see your deck. Show me your deck. I want to see this $850 million deck. You guys want feedback on your decks? You send them to Gutex. Gutex wants all the decks. Send me every single deck. I want to see it.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I've spoken to the Bebo guys that are running it now. They're cool. I nothing against
they must
them
be cool
or what they're doing. But I have no idea how they got sold for that much money the first time. I actually don't even know how there were $25 million now. I think you guys are awesome, but like, what the fuck is going on? And then, Twitch Rivals seems to be going pretty well as it is. Twitch Rivals could always be bolstered.
Wait, can we talk really quickly about what Twitch Rivals is? Because I don't know if everybody. I certainly.
Do you even know? Twitch Rivals is Twitch's own esport tournament series, which combines pro players and streamers for different games. So it's just top streamers and pro players that play with each other, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It gets good viewership, and it does well.
Yeah, it's actually very smart on their part because it combines like skilled gameplay with people who have large followings and clout to drive viewership. So
yeah, it's the same thing that Fortnite does with like the Pro M tourney this weekend, which we'll talk about later. That concept is very good right now, where Friday Fortnite's another great example. If you're able to mix pro players, top streamers, and even big YouTubers like Keemstar was able to with Friday Fortnite had more viewership than the fucking Pro-Am. Friday Fortnite, an online tournament where everyone is streaming from their apartment or whatever, had more viewership than the fucking multi-million-dollar Fortnite event at the Forum this past weekend. So, if you're able to really combine all the big stars, and it's even better for when you're at home, because like Twitch Rivals is an online tournament, because it allows everyone to just stream from their their place of residence. One of the problems with the Pro-Am tournament is because it's in person, and I don't have confirmation on this, from what I understand talking to someone, it's hard for everybody to stream at the same time when you're all at like this fucking stadium inside of the thing. You can't have everyone streaming at the same time, and that's automatically going to lower the viewership because of co-streaming and restreaming and everything that happens right now. But in general, the concept of adding everyone together can get you massive viewership for all games. So Twitch Rivals is like a solid thing as it is. So Bebo being acquired, I actually still don't know what the hell is going on, but they can at least strengthen Twitch Rivals as like a focus goal. And I think in that way, they have talented people, they have good technology, they can advance, a specific project like Twitch Rivals to be better. At least in the end, I do think that to be true.
But essentially now the site is gone, right? Because they just bought it and shut it down.
Yeah, it's not loading anything for me.
So it was less about it obviously it couldn't have been about the user base, and it couldn't have been about the front facing site. It had to have been about the way that they were doing is it about the underlying tech? I know.
Probably the people.
Right, yeah.
And I'm sure the tech must have some significance to why it's happening.
Like, what actually? That's the big question, right? Like, that's what we're all like kind of pondering over, I'm sure.
You know what? You guys, Bebo guys, you listening? You're the best fucking sales people of all goddamn time. It doesn't even matter.
Sell us
what
on
you're
Bebo.
doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
It doesn't fucking matter. I don't give a shit what the fucking site does or how you're gonna make Twitch Rivals or better. But you guys made even more millions of dollars, and that deserves a fucking round of applause. So congratulations, guys.
I'm impressed.
I really am too. I really am.
Way up.
Oh yeah.
Sell it again to buy it back on the way down, and then to buy it back
to resell it
$1 million, and then sell it again. These guys are fucking. You know what it is? These guys are just the best. These guys are the Ben Affleck in Boiler Room of tech startups.
An inspiration to us all. I can only aspire to be so good at selling as they are.
No, I know. Clearly, I'm waiting for the twitch.tv/Bebo channel where all they do is help struggling grassroots esports organizations with their sales teams and practices. God. We may also be haters. But
haters.
A lot of money.
Well, you know what? Twitch Rivals is a good initiative. I'm all about more esports and competitive gaming related activities at Twitch. So if Twitch is going to make an investment into purchasing this to focus on that, I think that's also a good indication in general. I mean, at least for me, every time I know Twitch continues to need to do other things, but I've always been the person to say that they need to keep a focus on esports. If esports were to ever die, I think Twitch would die with it. A lot of people don't believe that, but you might be probably one of them.
That is crazy.
Yeah, if esports were to die,
first off, esports will never die. Rob.
I know, obviously.
But even if it did, Twitch would live on, and they would just
no, it wouldn't. It would fucking go into the ground. Traffic would fall off so massively that it would just never recover.
Here's why Twitch would survive the death of esports, because by the time esports dies, Twitch will have pivoted from being gaming centric to gaming just being part of what the platform offers.
No one's watching other shit, Ryan. The only thing people are watching are
Trainwrecks has 2,000 viewers right now.
Okay. Yeah, okay. The only thing that people watch otherwise are your favorite video game streamers sitting in front of their computer talking shit to you, or like maybe going out sometimes into the real world. Sometimes they go out into the real world. 90% of the time they're sitting in front of a fucking computer with a camera talking shit to you.
I'm not talking about what people.
No, but
I'm talking less about what people watch today, and I'm talking about what people will watch 3 years, 5 years.
Why do you have any thought that it would change from now?
Because
there's no reason to assume that in 5 years people are going to be watching vastly different content than they are now. Twitch is always going to be a gaming platform, 100% forever. That's always going to be. That will, if anything, the smartest play is to continue to grow that sector. They, of course, want to do other things and be a lifestyle brand, but it's not going to work. It will only work to a certain extent. There's a reason that esports is so central to live streaming in general, and that esports and video games work so well with the technology that is live streaming. You can't do a lot of other things with live streaming to get a lot of people. The other thing you do the most is sports, and that's tied to television. Those are the two things that people watch the most through live streaming: sports and video games. So all these other things that people will do won't matter. So if Twitch can't pivot, really, honestly, I don't see it happening. Not in 5 years, not in 10 years.
So what you're saying is when they're trying to experiment with stuff like traditional ball sports on Twitch, pro wrestling on Twitch, music on Twitch, even
politics,
State of the Union, streams. Yeah, you're trying to tell me that that has no chance of growing.
It does. It does. No, all of that stuff. I like all that shit. I love politics on Twitch. I watch music on Twitch. They are competing with YouTube for a lot of that stuff. And I even think that even disregarding YouTube and Google competing for a lot of that, there's just so much traffic into games, no matter if they pivot into all of these things the best way. And they fucked up music, for example.
Oh, so you don't need to tell me about how Twitch fucked up music. I was there.
You're very aware.
And pleaded with them not to fuck it up and let the one guy who's qualified to operate in both spaces let me help them. And you know what they said? They didn't actually say fuck you, but but it didn't go anywhere. They didn't say fuck you. It wasn't like that. But here's the thing. Even the strength of Twitch isn't just the game's content. It's the platform that they've built that has developed, sort of generated this community that's highly engaged with the chat and the emotes. And now there's every which way to monetize on Twitch. There will be a generational shift, and all these people that grow up watching Twitch, the people who are, in high school or college or, younger or whatever, eventually they're going to get to the point where they want to start doing their own content. And as much as this might be hard for some people to believe, people have other interests outside of gaming, where a platform that runs as well from a live streaming perspective, these people will start to create other types of content, such as all of these different sort of categories that we mentioned. But the problem is that it's going to take years in order for those people to sort of have, for the light to come on and be like, oh, wait, like we could have music on Twitch. Why are we not streaming the show? Why are we not streaming this, whatever, football game? And but it's going to take like a sort of generational cultural shift in order for that to happen, and that takes years.
Yeah, I don't think Twitch is going to necessarily be the place for that as well. I think we might see another platform come to light where that is more mainstream oriented and appeals more to people who aren't just gamers, because I think Twitch is such, branded, and its voice is such like a hardcore gaming, for better or worse. It really appeals to the gamers. It's a very hardcore gaming focused brand, and that can, deter other people who may not necessarily be into games but still want to live stream themselves, either like, I don't know, cooking or like playing football or something, right? So, and let's not forget, Twitch was Justin TV at the beginning before they rebranded themselves to focus entirely on video games and called themselves Twitch.tv.
Yeah, and now the cycle is starting to repeat.
It's starting to shift again.
Yeah. But only time will tell. But my money is on the diversification of content. I mean, you could see it with all the stuff that they're trying, especially now with sub-only streams, which I, for one, can't wait to start playing with. Because sub-only streams are going to bring in bigger content producers.
Are you going to do that with all your subs?
Oh yeah, like all 5 million of them. Mm-hmm. Those people are going to be fine.
I mean, you're the number one streamer on Twitch with that number.
You're right, and we're going sub-only immediately. Nico, hit the button.
All right, we in sub only. Okay, cool. Well, we can speak freely now. We have no more people in the chat.
Here's the thing: sub only, like it or not, is a valid method of monetization for live content. It is not something that Twitch invented. Pay-per-view has existed for decades. Ask UFC, WWE, boxing, whatever, about whether or not pay-per-view works. The challenge for Twitch is going to be to find the right balance and the right content creators that can actually create content that people find worth subscribing for, either as a one-off event, or let's say to be able to access like the older archives, or maybe it's like a series of events. Who knows? I'm sure there'll be some people that are producing such high quality stuff that they only do sub only from the get-go, but it's going to be a challenge because they've gone for whatever 7-8 years sort of being adamantly against sub only, and they've sort of cultivated this culture of, oh, we don't want to pay for shit, even though the reality is that people are sending bits, donations, subscriptions, like all of these different monetization options exist, but everybody is afraid of sub only, except for your boy Gutex.
Except for your boy.
I mean, you were doing that way early on with cross-counter TV already, so, and you've known and seen how the audience has reacted to it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are hella people that have been mad over the years, but that didn't stop us, and people are willing to support stuff. People are willing to pay for stuff that they like. It's not, it's 2019. Remember, there was a time where Spotify didn't exist, Netflix didn't exist. People thought that people thought that people would never put their credit cards online. Like times change, culture changes. People are used to buying digital items. People are used to paying $5 here, $10 there for digital items, content, whatever. So this is the natural extension of that. But they have an uphill battle, and they cannot afford the. I don't know if I would say they can't afford to fuck it up, but if they pick the wrong sort of sub-only streams to experiment with, and that stuff is not well received, then everybody looks like an asshole, and then the entire community or that streamer or content producer's audience is mad.
it's going to be, probably some big publishers and some big streamers. So as long as they get, as you say, they get the people right with who they pick to, test this out, then it'll go well. But I feel like I think they will, honestly. I think this is a hard to fuck up one, but Twitch, as we know, is very good at fucking shit up and making what would seem to be an easy thing totally fail. So anything, again, is possible. Travis. So, I believe it. I believe they can do it.
My sources tell me that from an informal survey done, nobody liked it. And there was only one other person besides myself that was in this informal survey that liked it. Yeah. So that's why I think it's going to be a challenge. Hakemi TV says, what's the difference from a Patreon private video from a live stream for a sub? Nothing. Semantics. There is no difference. And that's why the time for this type of stuff is now. But I think there's a lot of streamers that are afraid to piss off their audience.
Well,
you sell out.
Yeah, but people do that all the time now. It's not like you have to do a sub-only stream every day. If you stream 7 days a week or whatever, and some people do because they're about that grind life, and you've had 6 of your days are normal streams and 1 of your days is a sub-only stream, that seems perfectly fine. Not only does it seem perfectly fine, it feels like that should be the standard. It shouldn't be free streams all the time. I mean, as much as we hate, as much as I hate getting nickel and dime by game companies, developers, whether it's loot boxes or microtransactions or whatever, this industry is healthier if there's more forms and ways of you to buy shit, and there's more things that you could do to buy. So if we can, and if Twitch can, create another way that you can give money to a content creator, or if you're a content creator, the more ways that you can earn a living, then I think that is better for the industry. No one is paying you to have the sub-only stream. I mean, those same people who are saying fucking sell out are never donating, are never subscribing, are never getting emotes, are talking shit all the time in fucking chat, and always are whining and complaining. The people that are always supporting the streamer are never the ones bitching about all that shit. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
True.
From people talking about, complaining, no, you fucking sold out. Because what is it? It's not selling out, Ryan.
Cashing in.
It's a very, very important difference.
All right. Well, I look forward. I'll be checking my inbox. Bebo dudes, feel free to really want to learn more about that deal and how they were able to pull off that magic time after time. All right, moving on. Valve and Riot have released their own versions of Auto Chess. Dota Underlords and Team Fight Tactics.
Dude, I let the window open and a mosquito just came in. I'm a fucking idiot.
You missed. Bro, we are tied.
God.
We are soul bound. I left the window open and a bee flew in here that I had to gruesomely murder.
Dude,
before you got here.
It's right here.
Kill it. Look at Rod is so entranced by this
Dude,
thing.
It's literally right here.
The same thing happened to me, bro. Same.
Yeah, it was right before the show. I even watched Ryan run around and freak out over this thing, and I was
I thought I was gonna die, dude.
I instantly, the first thing I did was I just hit the record button straight away.
Oh no.
We have a special guest on Slash's camera. Oh my god, are you going in for the kill?
No.
Are you allergic?
Thank you, Nico, for our producer.
Fucking allergic. Yeah, actually, Nico, we have a new producer today. Lewis is off this week, and we actually fucked up. We didn't even introduce our new producer at the start of the show. Nico, you're here, right? Nico? Okay, you can talk. You can talk to the show, by the way. Well, I mean, we want Lewis, and you're the new guy, so we kind of have to allow you to talk onto our show. And I am graciously going to allow you to say hello to chat one time.
Oh my God, Nico, don't listen to him. You can say hello whenever you want.
Now, Nico, you're new, okay? Lewis is old school OG. He's been around forever. Nico, you're only starting out, okay? You got to do what we say. If I want you to make a lower third, then you make a lower third. The first show, you can only talk to chat in 1 or 2 times.
Give Slasher a little bit of power, and he just goes wild with it.
Leave it to the guy who's never left the country to sort of interact with our production team based in Manila.
Hey! This is what? Whoa! What are you talking about? It's nothing to do with that. If he was an up and coming American, I would give him just as much shit.
I understand that, Rod. You're literally proving my point.
You got
Zorine understands. Yeah. Zorine understands.
Well,
anyways.
You know what? You had the beginning of the show with 9/11. I get this one. Zorine, you're coming up soon. You're coming up by the end. Don't you fucking think you're not safe yet? Okay, you're not safe.
I would never assume such a outlandish thing.
All right. Well, anyways, let's talk about this auto chess thing. First off, what in the hell is auto chess?
Allow me. All right.
All right.
I've got a couple of hours in auto chess. All right. So to properly explain the lineage of auto chess, we need to go into the history of Dota a little bit, just a little bit. So Warcraft 3, which was made by Blizzard, came with some creator or mod tools that allowed users to create their own custom maps and custom like little campaigns, I guess you could say, which led to a bunch of users eventually creating Dota, the original Dota, which was also before that based on Aeon of Strife, which was the custom map in StarCraft. So if you wanted to trace like the origins of Dota 2 and League of Legends, it actually kind of goes all the way back to the original StarCraft. But anyway, so a bunch of people made Dota, which, as we know, went on to inspire the other games such as League of Legends, developed by Riot Games, as well as Dota 2, which is developed by Valve. Now, Valve, for Dota 2, released a bunch of creator tools within their game.
This is new. This is pretty new.
That allowed people to create their own custom games and maps, which led to the creation of Auto Chess. So Auto Chess is a mod, or at least a custom game that was created out of Dota 2. And Dota 2 is the sequel of a custom game that was that was created out of Warcraft 3. So it's kind of like gone through this whole like, I guess it's like this weird path, you could say, of like user created maps and mods that have spawned all these crazy successful games. And now we're at Auto Chess. So Auto Chess is obviously a huge success. And Valve responded by releasing their own version called Dota Underlords, which is a very polished game. I saw a little bit of footage of it last night. It only came out a few days ago. And then Riot Games went and released their own version of this game called, what was it called again? It's called like League of Legends something, right? I can't remember.
The Riot's new one? Yeah, Tactics.
Teamfight Tactics.
Teamfight Tactics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Riot Games releases Teamfight Tactics, which uses units from League of Legends, and Valve releases Dota Underlords, which is based on Auto Chess. That was made from Dota 2. You following?
No, actually, Nico, is there a way I can pop this in? But I had to type in auto chess. I mean, I've seen it, but I've seen the name, but I never watched it. I'm just gonna pop this video in there.
So basically, auto chess is a mod for Dota 2, or a custom-made map for Dota 2.
Yeah, but now there's like 15 games.
Now there's a whole bunch of other versions of auto chess that have been created that are essentially copycats of the original auto chess.
Right. But I'm looking at it in this video. Nico, if you can pop that in there. I mean, it looks like they're animated characters on a chessboard with different sort of attacks and properties and whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not like chess at all. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, this game has almost nothing to do.
Okay.
And
All right.
it's just a strategic, like you pick your units, you build them up, you create combinations in the hopes that they will survive each round and that you are the last player standing.
Wait, sorry. You're the last player standing after what? After you pick?
After each round, you verse either neutral creeps or other players' compositions of units. And the idea is to try and defeat them and stay alive until you are the last remaining player who is alive. So each time you lose a round, you'll lose a specific amount of health dependent on how many units you lost to that are remaining on the board. And so I guess like the bulk of the game is creating these combinations of units that have their own weaknesses and strengths. And then you kind of, a lot like place them on the board like chess pieces. And then you level up them and then combine them.
Okay. And so how long ago did Valve release these tools, mod tools for Dota?
I want to say like at least a year ago. Because I remember playing some custom game modes a while back.
Okay.
Now I only put this picture in our Skype chat, Lewis, because we did end up seeing Mike Ross again this week at E3. We can't forget that. That was actually a great fucking time. I just want to say, Ryan, if you ever need to know Dota, you should be hitting up Mike. I'm sure he's probably gonna be all up in auto chess land. I mean, he is basically a pro Dota player.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Oh, sure. Okay.
He's a pro Dota player, and all the pro Dota players, the cool thing now for the Dota players is to go play auto chess.
Cool,
really?
yeah.
I feel like there's actually a huge distinction between the two. Like, there are definitely players on auto chess who I see that are clearly only auto chess players. Like, they log into Dota 2 and they only play auto chess. They probably don't even know how the main Dota 2 game works. And I'd be real curious to see the data.
And that's the same thing for when MOBAs got big. People logged into Warcraft 3 to play Dota, and no one actually played Warcraft 3. Yeah, and that was how Dota got huge to begin with. So it really is the same path. I mean, when Valve released these mod tools, this was the intention. They really wanted someone to create another what ended up being a huge mod into a game out of these tools. Like, that's why they put these tools into Dota 2. So I really think auto chess in general is a great thing to have. It's fantastic that a bunch of new creators, they were just mod makers, I believe they're Chinese, are the owners of auto chess. They, had a really good idea. They implemented it. And now there are two major companies, Valve and Riot, each making their own versions to compete with the little old mod makers. And them themselves have partnered with Epic to create, a full-blown thing. So I think in just a short amount of time, you see what like a new idea can do to turn into like a worldwide phenomenon now. Like auto chess is more than likely going to be really the next big mod.
But here is the question I have for you, Slasher. Do you think that Valve releasing its own standalone version of auto chess is going to kill the original, much like how Dota 2 killed the original Dota?
But Valve bought Dota. IceFrog joined Valve to create Dota 2, which was really just a reproduction of Dota 1 without many changes, but a graphical upgrade.
Right, but I remember there being an overlap.
But the Chinese developers, and I don't really know what the deal is, but they didn't join Valve. They did not join Valve. They did not bring their auto chess to Valve. They decided to go do their own thing. They made a mobile game, Ryan. So their first thing that they created was a mobile game themselves. They removed all the Dota characters and they released the game in China as auto chess. And it recently got launched as auto chess in in the Western states. They only very recently partnered with Epic to create a desktop PC version of Auto Chess. And now it seems like they are further behind than both Valve and Riot in the PC version of Auto Chess. They went to go focus on mobile, which in all honesty, considering the Chinese market, was probably a really smart play. So these guys seem like they really know what the fuck they're doing, the people that made the original Auto Chess. And I know Valve will, because the original Auto Chess was built inside their game and they already have a core market of people playing Auto Chess within Dota 2, Valve definitely has a leg up on, let's say, Riot in this way, even though Riot has more people overall playing League of Legends. I'm actually pretty confident in the original Chinese creators and what they do. They're the ones that made the game. It doesn't mean that they have the best direction for the game or the best larger type of thinking of how to turn it into a mainstream game with millions of players or whatever. But I tend to try to feel like I try to follow the legacy of the original founders and what they want to do. And I think it's shown with Dota specifically. If IceFrog wasn't there from the beginning, Dota would not be where it is. I don't feel like Valve, just being Valve, is going to make that the larger thing. I think that whenever the original founders get their shit out, it's going to be, I feel like it'll be the biggest game.
Okay.
So they released these tools a year ago, and then these guys started working on this. And how long has Auto Chess been out, or a thing, or raised?
Sorry. So
6
to
months.
correct
Okay.
myself, Sudafan actually pointed out that the original tools were released 4 years ago. So Auto Chess has only been out for, I want to say, less than a year.
And so in that time, a Chinese company has taken the tools that Valve provided for Dota, made something that was so compelling, caught on. Whatever. Not in my crowd, and not for me personally, but just because I don't know about it doesn't mean it's not a thing.
Well, you don't know about shit, so.
And in that time, in the time since it's got popular, these guys started to work on their own versions. And now we sort of have this three-way dance between Epic, Riot, and Valve over yet another mod.
I mean, I really think that the MOBA and everything that happened with Dota being created, Blizzard didn't like trying to bring on IceFrog, letting IceFrog go to make Heroes of New Earth, that whole stupid bullshit. Then Riot coming in and seeing IceFrog in a miserable land of Heroes of New Earth made League of Legends and all this. And everyone's like, okay, we are not letting that fucking shit happen again. We are making this goddamn game immediately. We are getting on this shit right now. And you know what's fucked up? We have Valve in there, we have Riot in there, and we have now Epic in there. And look again, who totally missed the fucking boat. Activision Blizzard just somehow continues to not be able to get this shit going. Seemingly now it's a mod of a game that existed in their game to begin with. They could have had two now huge games. Instead they have Heroes of the Storm pretty much dead, and they're not going to make. I highly doubt they're going to make this mode in Heroes of the Storm, because if they do, it'll be a laughingstock again, right? It's almost like an inevitable point. Like if they come out now with their own version of this mod inside of their game, which is the shittiest version of the original MOBA genre, it's just going to look terrible. So Blizzard, again, somehow in all of this is the loser in everything. That's the thing that I think of most. Blizzard are losers in Auto Chess.
Well, I think it's quite ironic that a game that started as a Dota mod through Valve is now being sold or distributed through the Epic Games Store. That is amazing to me. And now that's crazy that these tools have been out for so long and it took this long to get something like Auto Chess to take off. But that leads me to believe that there is somebody out there that's thinking, how the fuck do I turn Dota 2 into a fighting game? And then we're going to be, a year later or something, I'm sure we're going to be talking about the Dota mod, the new, whatever, Dota League Epic fighting game that started as a Dota 2 mod. And that's going to be how it happens. So, yeah.
I've seen some hints of an Overwatch fighting game because the mod tools just came out for Overwatch maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, and people are
Really?
only starting to, because really what it is, Battle Royale was also a mod, and what it comes down to is there's so many people that are creative, that are in games, that are making shit, and they're in the community, and they're doing things that, there's thousands of games and mods being produced that have been produced, but there's only a handful that have been able to be so popular. And that's because creating a really good competitive multiplayer game mode, not like the core, like, game engine or even mechanics, but the actual mode of how the game should be played is so fucking hard that if you are able to actually figure out something good like Battle Royale, you could be literally a billionaire. Or auto chess. If you could figure out something that really is super interesting, you could use someone else's game and everything they've built to showcase off the idea of the game mode. And honestly, the game mode is as or more important than the fucking game in a lot of these ways. Like Battle Royale saved Fortnite. It's not like Fortnite came along and made Battle Royale. Fortnite was going to be a dead fucking game, dead in the water. It's going to be canceled. There was an old Epic producer that now runs Gears of War for Coalition, Rod Ferguson. He said he was going to cancel Fortnite when Save the World came out, and it didn't do well at all. And then they pivoted to Battle Royale, and then it fucking went insane. So the idea of Battle Royale is the thing that is making all these games, not the other way around. And people, if you really believe in your idea of how to make a game mode, then you should just use another game. I think it's actually shown so many times now. It's better to use another game than build everything yourself from scratch. It's just no point.
100%. I mean, I'd never really considered. I mean, I didn't. This is why we do the show. I didn't know that the Dota 2 mod tools had been a thing for 4 years. But I've seen a lot of the mods that have come out in Street Fighter 5, 4, and I guess it's only just those two. But essentially, they're all mostly cosmetics. Oh, here's some custom skin, blah, 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 where we imported this graphic or, texture from another game. And there are a couple of mods like Street Fighter 5 Mysterious mod, and there was this one really weird sort of Street Fighter 4 Rainbow Edition type of mod. But I think the problem is that the core audience is so much smaller anyways, inherently, that there's just less modding going on in fighting games, and that's sort of like holding the whole thing back. Because it's not, I mean, it can't be that hard to make these mods, because based on my limited knowledge, I mean, there's a lot of people making, cosmetic mods, everything from costumes to stages, and then, making little minor changes to the game balance, everything from, combo systems and weird juggle properties and stuff. And that's really the true potential. But I don't know, so far it's just not really been a thing because none of the mods have taken off really in FGC. But it's completely inevitable.
Well, yeah, but the way, and I want to hear what Zorine, how you think, because the way that you talked about it, most of them are skins, and I believe really the skins are actually, if anything, the developers should be focused on is making the fucking skins, because they want to make all the goddamn money off the skins anyway. And really, because first-person shooters and top-down, like MOBA games came from StarCraft, and the top-down real-time strategy camera look at the screen, like in Warcraft and StarCraft, you have like an army and it's a top-down camera. So that's how like League of Legends is born and Dota, and that's how now auto chess is born. So first-person shooters and top-down camera RTS lend so much experimentation in terms of how you want to make the game in terms of the game mode. Fighting games, it feels like the most amount of experimentation you can have are like assists and like dual, triple character on, that can come in at any time. There's a limited amount of ideas that you can have in a fighting game because of the screen and the way it is. Just like you can't do other things. I don't know.
Well,
like I think that's why it's hard.
Here's the thing, Rod. That may or may not be true, but we haven't even gotten it to the point where that is even being experimented with. Like, for example, like what you're saying, having more characters for an assist, or, let's say doing some sort of like King of Fighters style mode.
Yeah, sure.
That something like that, even though technically that exists in 5. But I mean, to essentially create an entirely new mod based on what you're describing, even if you think that that's limited, or that's the sort of creative ceiling, even that hasn't been done. So something has to happen, and I thought it was going to be PC versions of fighting games that would, sort of lend themselves to more modding. But now I actually think it's going to come from something like Dota 2 mod tools.
I mean, I'm willing to wager that, having to or wanting to mod a game from Capcom is probably not very easy to do. You'd probably have to jump through like a lot of hoops to get stuff to work, mess with the code. It's all very messy.
I think you're overthinking it, Zoe.
Well, compared to the ease of like the tools being handed to you from like developers like Valve and Blizzard, like Blizzard's mod tool in Warcraft 3, I remember like that custom map maker was so easy to use and so fun. Like even I made a like silly little map on it. I had this crazy idea, by the way. Anyway, it wasn't executed very well. But the point is, like, they encourage people to mod and play with the tools and use and push the game to its limits, which I don't think, Capcom necessarily does with its own fighting games, or even like Tekken. The Tekken mods are pretty much in the same vein or in the Street Fighter ones that you described. So I think if anything, those developers probably don't want people to mod their games too much or mess around with the code too much.
For sure, they don't want it. I mean, I'm sure there was a time where a lot of these companies, they didn't want people modding their games either. I mean, a lot of the most successful franchises are born out of mods, but that sort of requires a certain level of open-mindedness. And we're just not really there in fighting games. But I know there is a thing it's either called Ono Tool or Ono Editor. Actually, I'm going to put this in the chat. This sort of AE mods website that is, I don't know if this is still sort of updated. Hold on. I'm going to put this in the Twitch. Oh, wait. I'm going to put that. All right, put Twitch chat, and then we put it in Skype. This place, this pbworks.com was sort of like I don't know if it's still updated, but this at one point was one of the hubs for modding Street Fighter 4. And I don't know if it's still relevant, but to me, it's like for anybody who's like some sort of like enterprising like developer or modder or whatever, this could be a good place to start your research on stuff. And I'm sure a lot of these things, some of these things probably are there's similar versions for Street Fighter 5, maybe, or maybe not. And maybe, people need to go make these tools so that people can make mods of, fighting games, whether it's Street Fighter or Tekken or Mortal Kombat or Samurai Showdown, or Soul Calibur, or Dragon Ball Fighters. Like literally, all of the games are on PC. They just don't have people that are like, we need more mods, except for Mysterious Mod, which I believe to be the most polished Street Fighter 5 mod.
So I have a question for both of you. Do the most mainstream game with assists would be, of course, Marvel and now Dragon Ball. Do you feel, and that seems to be the other like best example of a different way of approaching things? Yeah, you have like old King of Fighters, you had like the Cross Tekken, Street Fighter Cross Tekken type of shit that was tried. Do you think like would the ideas of the mode in Cross Tekken work if the game was better? Do you feel like is there any do you think assists would work in mainstream Tekken or Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? Is that even necessary to make the game different? What could mods do to these games to make it different, other than like making a pro mod version that's like changing the hitboxes and changing frames and all the other shit? Besides that stuff, which exists in all games, like there are pro mods in all types of different games. Just in terms of what the game mode play would be, is that even possible?
Yes, I actually talked about this with JB, who is a Street Fighter player, the other day. I think it'd be great if there was a mod that enabled like team play, where two players could fight at the same time against two other players on the screen. I actually think that would be awesome. And also just imagining is like hilarious in my mind, because the setups you could do, like the mind games, all the little things that you could do around that would be so fun to watch. And I think actually might just be what the fighting game like community needs to give it a little boost.
But don't you think that's only possible in a game like Smash, where the screen is so big? And,
No,
and
I
other
don't
games?
think so.
Because
I mean,
what about character collision? How can you have 4 characters on the screen if they're collided into each other? Are they going to like pass through each other so there's no collision, and that you could only hit the enemy team? Are the skins going to overlap so when you look at the screen, it's going to look weird?
I mean, these are kind of all semantics, but sorry, go on, Ryan. I feel like it's definitely something that can be figured out easily.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mention that part of it, because for me, in recent, I mean, I guess it was a long time ago, but Street Fighter Cross Tekken doubles was some of the most fun that I've had, and to me, it's really unfortunate how much they botched the launch or fucked up whatever part of it you would attribute to that game's sort of untimely death, but doubles, especially the 1 year that Cross Tekken doubles was at Evo, in my mind, and you guys, for those not familiar, you can check old episodes of on the Cross Counter YouTube channel for Street Fighter Cross Tekken running sets. I mean, it was so much fun, even though the vast majority of the gameplay was just one. Like there were still only 2 characters on the screen for most of the time, but what made Cross Tekken doubles so interesting and so much better, or what made it so interesting for me, was that the player who wasn't currently tagged in could tag themselves in at any time, whether it was in the middle of the combo, let's say when they were supposed to, or what I found most hilarious, and you could probably watch the Evo finals of that year with Combo Fiend and Mike Ross, or just watch old episodes of that are on the Cross Counter TV YouTube channel. But that shit is fucking hilarious. When one of your partner, when your partner is a ball hog, or when your partner fucks something up and you're just like, bro, like really, like why would you do that? To me, that is such an unexplored element that really we were just scratching the surface, and then the game died, but it was so much fun. And to your point about, wouldn't it be difficult to have, let's say, like 4 players on the screen at the same time, and how would the hitboxes work, and would they collide? I see what you're saying, but that leads me to think that a 3D game would work better for that, because I mean, sure, Tekken, Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive, any of these 3D games, it would be easier to support 4 players on the screen, maybe, because you're not sort of limited by the 2D plane, and so you could have 2 battles going on at the same time in different parts of the screen. And to me, that would be so much more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Tekken did a little bit of that. Like, if you played Tekken Tag Tournament 2, you could tag in like your partner or whatever. There was potential to do like 2 people playing at once, but there was never more than like one versus one character on the screen, really.
Yeah,
it's similar concept.
I mean, it's just unfortunate that it was kind of ahead of its time. It's unfortunate that concept was tied to such a
shit ass game.
Yeah. To a game that bombed.
Here's the thing. Here's the problem. That game, once they put out like the first update, actually was way better and fixed a lot of the bullshit. But the problem was that at that point it was already too late. But the other reason why it was too soon is because they didn't have the Xbox and PS3 doubles working the same way. So you couldn't play doubles online when you were side by side. You needed 2 Xboxes or 2 PS3s or some shit to play doubles online. And so the stuff that you're describing, Rod, about how would it even work? There was a mode in Cross Tekken that allowed both characters come out at the same time, and both players would control themselves. So you could do stuff that literally was completely custom to not just your two characters, but you as a tag team unit. And yeah, it was too good.
So would that work in Street Fighter 5?
It would work in Street Fighter 5. I don't see why it wouldn't. If they just made... Here's the problem. Little known fact, there is actually Team Battle built into Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition. You don't have to pay to download it. It's not a mod, but nobody gives a shit about it because even though it allows for these sort of extra little ways to configure and actually do Team Battle in a mildly more interesting way, nobody gives a shit about it.
Why? Why does nobody give a shit about it?
Number one, because
wait, is it even used in Street Fighter League, the team league? Is it used in that?
I have watched. I couldn't tell you because I've never seen Street Fighter. But if I had to guess, well, why would I? It's fucking pre-recorded shit I wasn't involved in. Why would I watch it?
Is it pre-recorded?
Yeah, it is.
E3 there was live, right?
That was an exhibition. It wasn't part of the actual Street Fighter League.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I feel like I just told you that like Santa Claus isn't real. Yeah, Street Fighter League, the vast majority of it, I believe the finals are at CEO, but the vast majority of it was pre-taped during a half a week or something here in Burbank. And they air it every Thursday because they want that time to sort of, edit it, chop it up, and make it look nice. And I'm sure it looks great. I just I'm not personally invested because I'm just not personally invested. But I don't think they used the team battle mode in that in Street Fighter League. And I've actually never seen any tournament or any stream or really anybody besides myself and like one of the Cap Cops even talk about team battle mode.
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
Be the change you want to see in the world, Gooey.
Well, here's the thing. That ship has sailed, and me sort of going down that road, I mean, I just personally don't have a vested interest. But would cross Tekken-esque doubles work in Street Fighter 5? 100%. That shit would be so much fun. I don't really think it's all that hard. And here's the thing, like even when they sort of launched, oh god,
we're going into the dark.
This is why we have to talk about esports, guys, because all of this other gets me triggered. But like, they launched Street Fighter League. They have CSL that's broadcast, it's collegiate level team based stuff. They announced the deal with Super League. None of these leagues or none of these things are trying to use this little known feature of the game that would, enable team battle and make things at least a little bit more interesting. And it's a shame because if you actually go through the time, you take the time to go through it and look at all the options, you can make like a really cool, like little custom team format, which could really help sort of spice things up. But the other thing is, I don't think they ever built out the online components of that either. So essentially, you're just sort of left. Oh yeah, you can't do team battle online. That's the other thing. So.
Oh well, fucking yeah. You might have left that little part out.
Well, I'm not the one that was supposed to put it in.
That's true.
Yeah,
I feel you.
Nobody asked me. Nobody asked me, oh, how do we do team battle in Street Fighter 5? Oh, well, here, I actually have this 10-page deck that you can buy from me for $850 million.
You know what? I think it's a step up from at least Capcom blacklisting or hating you. From that to going to not going to you for advice, I feel like it's at least, slightly better. You're
No, it's
moving
way
on
better.
up.
Oh, it's way better. I mean, there used to be a lot of conflict between old Gutex
Yeah,
1.0.
old Gutex. I know Gutex 1.0
Yeah.
quite well.
Yeah. And Gutex 1.0 and Capcom, I don't even know what version they're on. The previous regime, there were issues. But now that things have sort of been shifted over, esports responsibility at Capcom has been shifted over to Capcom Media Ventures, formerly known as Capcom Mobile. Those guys are great. These guys get it. I mean, when I say that I had a great E3, I mean my conversations with those guys, I think went really well. They get it. They get what they get it. I mean, they understand the value of content in a way that old regimes didn't. We didn't see eye to eye. But like it's been 10 years. The world has changed. People come and go, and it's a brand new day. So for me, I mean, don't get it twisted. Like I don't care about Street Fighter League because it doesn't involve me. But now maybe I'm in a position to help with these types of things because now finally the adults in the room will listen to me because I'm fucking old and have been
Be old and beaten and dragged through the streets by the esports overlords and the Capcom Illuminati. You got both of those tugging on both arms of Gutex and 1.0. What are you now? What version are you currently?
I think
Are you at a 3? Are you at 3?
I'm at least 3.5.
3.5. I'm glad you just.
I mean, think about it. Like, I'm Gutex, Street Fighter 4 Gutex competitive third strike player now does a weekly podcast about esports. Like, come on, like where was the gap? There must have been a lot of things that happened in between that time.
Yeah, I mean, and I think 3.5 is a great number for you. I'm always going to consider you an 8th to me.
An 8th. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, no problem. So I think 3.5 is very appropriate. Let me know when you get to 4.20. Version 4.20 is going to be so goddamn sick.
That guy's going to be so well refined. Yeah. But no, I think it's good. It's yeah, I feel cautiously optimistic because like every time I have conversations with adults in Capcom or these sort of other surrounding companies about this type of stuff, it always seems like we get each other, whereas before I always felt like I was talking to the wall.
It's progress.
Yeah.
Well, you still get to talk to a wall by being on this show.
Thank you.
You know, you still get the experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. It's a good thing I have. I mean, it's a good thing I have all that experience before. That's how I have a better idea of how to deal with you. Anyway, so yeah, if you really want to make a dent in fighting games, go make an interesting mod. Because I think that's where a lot of the innovation has to come from. All right, let's see. Moving on. Fortnite Celebrity Pro-Am event part 2 saw a 72% decline in viewership compared to last year's event on Twitch. The summer block party that we had our favorite esports wall believe that I don't know if it was the Cap Cops old regime or the Epic Illuminati pulling the plug because they don't want people to know that nobody was watching their summer block party thing. But really, who cares how many people were watching it? What matters is how many people showed up in person to a 3-day thing. I mean, I don't know the last time you guys went to a 3-day gaming 2-day. Okay, Rod told me
It was 2. It was 2. I said it was 2 days. How the fuck did I say it was 3 days?
All right, well, I didn't get an
What the
invite.
fuck are you talking about? I know. No, I asked you.
Not from you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have been your +1 stuck on the outside. Oh wait, I don't want to steal. Tell us about you guys' experience since me and everybody else probably watching didn't get a chance to go.
Doreen, you should go first. Tell
I mean,
us.
I was there on Saturday. I got tickets like a normal person, and
Oh wait, you could buy tickets?
yeah. So this was a ticketed event. It was
You
$30 a
bought
day. It was.
Wait, you didn't use the cross-counter media credentials?
I tried, Ryan. They were like, the Epic Games looked at it and they were like, "I'm sorry, what is this? Fighting games? We put that all the way down here. You guys definitely don't get credentialed."
I respect
got
that. That's actually a pretty accurate
No,
response.
did you actually get rejected?
No, of course
Oh, okay.
not. I didn't even try.
Okay.
Why would I even try with cross counter? for a Fortnite event. Like, I know when to shoot my shot, you know.
And this is not it. This was
definitely not
it.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right.
So $30 one day or 2 days? I thought it was a
one
free
day.
event.
No.
I thought
Definitely ticketed. $30 for one day. So if you go both days, you're spending $60, and that doesn't get you anything beyond like you get this little. Oh, I have it actually. Let me show you what you get.
Oh yes. Oh, please do. Show me the goodie bag or the swag that $30 gets you. I thought this was like a free thing because you guys remember when they did this last year, it was a 1-day thing, and even the Fan Festival guide.
Yeah, so this is what they gave you. So you get this. I mean, the physical goods part isn't very exciting. You get like a wristband.
That's all the stuff that Rod left at my place.
Yeah, I did. That's how it was so important that it's still at Gutex's house.
There's like a little block party pin, and there's also like ear plugs in case the music's too loud for you. And then it also comes with some digital goods, so you get some V-Bucks and digital item code. I think it's like I don't know, some sort of in-game exclusive thing. But that's it. Like that's literally like what your ticket grants you. Oh, and a seat to the actual tournament itself. But like in terms of physical goods, when you go there, you have to spend more money if you want to buy merch, or eat Fortnite-themed food, or drink Fortnite-themed drinks, or I think also playing games is free, right there, Rod? Did you try to play the games?
What the golf thing and all that?
Yeah,
shit?
like
No,
so they
I
had a
played
whole
the fucking
bunch
games. What are you talking about?
They had a whole bunch of activities outside. Yeah, you're right. You're a nerd. You would definitely not step into the sunfits. So there was like a zip line.
No, okay.
Like a
I bought a
mechanical
fucking
bull.
burger and a beer, and I sat out there.
Oh,
and-
I'm sorry. You bought a Durr burger.
Oh, fuck me. I guess I did. Pie fucking.
So yeah, I mean, there was like a lot of stuff going on. It was basically like one big fun, festival kind of outdoor. They had the outdoor component, and then it was all Fortnite themed. Yeah, it was actually like pretty cool. Like a lot of kids were there, and I could see if I was a child of that age, I would also very much enjoy something like this.
Instead of the mature woman child that you've grown into.
You hit that nail on the head. And then they had the indoor tournament, which was like a very fancy stage, and they had dancers doing all the Fortnite dances.
Oh my!
In front of it. Can I just say props to those people because they were dancing for like 40 minutes straight. I never saw them stop dancing, because as soon as they came out onto the stage and then like the content creators and influencers come out behind them and they sit down and play the tournament, the dancers are still like down near the front, like on the floor, dancing, just doing the Fortnite dances endlessly.
They were dancers that never stopped dancing. They had to do the Fortnite dancers for literally 5 hours straight.
Oh my God.
And I saw them walking up the steps because they walked by me and did the dance, and then like walked and stopped and did the dance and then walked through that the entire
I feel like this is where we needed to allocate our media resources for you, Zorine, because here's the thing. This all sounds good, but I would have loved to have seen photos and or videos from what I would consider probably a beta test for future Fortnite, festivals, whether it's 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or whatever. But I believe that last year was the beta test, which was, this is why it never even occurred to me that you could buy tickets for it, because I just assumed this shit was so exclusive because of what a mission it was to get in last year, even though I was my friend Ari's +1, and we still struggled to get in.
Damn, they didn't see your cross counter badge.
Who would have thought?
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
It blinds us with its light.
Don't worry, Utex. We don't even want to cover Fortnite on cross counter. I think that would kill our audience.
No, it's not about it's less about covering and more about reconnaissance. You call it covering. I'm calling it data.
Interesting. Well, the data tells us they were down year on year in viewership anyway. So,
well, how many people was it packed? Like,
yeah, it was packed.
Videos? Like, was it sold out?
I don't think it was sold out.
I don't think.
And
so.
It was at the forum, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the forum essentially holds nearly. If you don't confine them to the stands, it is. That's it. At the forum.
Well,
is that
where else?
The same place that it was.
Stand?
Well, so last year I didn't see the daytime activation, but the nighttime thing, all of the stuff, which I thought was really well done, perfectly executed, sort of little mini activations around the perimeter of the forum.
Same thing.
Yeah. You're going to hold double the amount of people out there.
The forum holds apparently up to 17,000 if it's for a basketball game.
Huh.
Well, I mean, it was in person. It did really well. That's not the viewership statistic is online, and there are a few reasons for this. I just want to say I went in person too, and before I end up trashing the event, which I'm going to do, I just want to thank Epic co-founder Mark Rain for giving me a ticket and asking me to go to the event, and that was very nice of him, and I appreciate him doing that. And that's fantastic. Okay, so now we get that out of the way. Now we got that out of the way.
Maintain your journalistic integrity, Slasher. I love it.
Yeah, now we got that out of the way. It was like the event itself was cool. And there were a lot of people there, and they were cool to meet, I guess, and shit. But like it was like, I don't know. The best thing about the event was to see all the little kids at the event. And although for in general that would be a terrible thing, like going to the movies with kids is awful, and you want to fucking kill every fucking child in the theater and their parents who brought them into the theater, just like you do on the plane whenever you have kids near you. And I understand that concept, but in general, the more like I've never seen more young kids and children than at the Fortnite event this year and last year. And I really think for a game like Fortnite, which in the end is going to be a competitive multiplayer game, for there to be thousands of 12 and 13-year-old kids at these in-person events, those are going to be the future generation of esports and video games. And there's no better game than Fortnite to bring in all these young kids to be that future. So although it is terrible that all these young kids are around making the experience kind of lame, I mean, I mean, to see like thousands of kids doing the floss is fucking terrifying. It's fucking terrifying shit. Okay, I kind of want like a t-shirt cannon just to shoot all the kids, not to give t-shirts.
Please do not ever say that again.
T-shirt cannon, okay? T-shirt cannon.
Context is everything.
I know, so I specifically said a t-shirt cannon. It just shoots t-shirts, okay? T-shirts is what is shot out of the... Okay, anyway. So that part is cool. But really, no one's watching the fucking event because no one can stream the event in person. I think we even talked about that a little bit earlier, but they're not able to have everybody streaming like they did last year when it was outside. When it was outside, they were able to really get so many people streaming at the same time. I actually don't know how they were able to do the bandwidth that way, but they did not have nearly as many people doing it this time. So the viewership was automatically going to be so much less than before just because they don't have co-streams and restreams. Co-streams are what carries Fortnite esports viewership, whether it's at E3 or the Pro-Am or this event. The co-streaming aspect is what gives them like 2 to 3 million concurrent because they're adding up YouTube plus Twitch plus every single streamer and YouTuber streaming. And if they don't have that, the official Fortnite like stream on YouTube and Twitch is like pretty shit. I think it had like 50,000 viewers, which is awful comparative to like other games. So if Fortnite doesn't have the co-streams going, they actually are in a somewhat vulnerable position in terms of viewership. And that they do need that to be successful.
I cannot believe how amazingly wrong you are.
Holy shit!
Not wrong.
Shit. Which part?
Not wrong. I just think that you're completely missing the point. The point of this event, let's say Fortnite Summer Block Party, is not how many people watch on the stream. The point of this event is to test the idea of a paid Fortnite festival type of 2-day thing. It doesn't matter how many people watch the stream online because newsflash, Epic is not like a lot of other parts of esports dependent on sponsors or advertisers of any kind. Therefore, who gives a shit how many people are watching this thing online? 50,000 people? Oh, wow. That sounds... Yeah, nobody watched. 50,000 people is about 4 times the amount of people that could actually fit inside the forum. So, yeah, there were a lot of people that watched, Rod. And
it was just the mainstream.
I mean, that's what
they still had hundreds of thousands of people watching, overall.
Yeah, they had hella people watching, but more importantly, they got to test the idea of whether or not people would pay to go to a really well done event. As far as I wasn't there because I didn't have or an invite, so I don't know. But it sounds like it was well executed, well thought out. They thought of all the little details. They had all the kids, they had the pros, the celebrities, everything, and I think this sort of proves that you don't need sponsorship if you have a really cool event that people will just come to because it's, the tail end of E3. You're going to have all these industry people still in town, theoretically, maybe like yourself, Slasher. And this to me sounds like such a groundbreaking win for Epic that I just don't even see how stream viewership is relevant because I'm pretty sure all those little kids had their tiny little minds blown about what the future of gaming, could have the potential to be. And I think I wish I cared at all, even a little. So I could share. It's just a little bit so that I could share in that joy. But I also know that if I were 20 years younger, I'd be all about it. And that's, kudos to them for trying to execute what I'm sure they had. It wasn't just one person that made this happen. I'm sure this was something that got brought up in a meeting and some people were like, that is fucking crazy. You are literally, just delete your account within this company because that is crazy talk. And somebody else in there was like, no, let him talk. I want to hear what he has to say. Or she. Yeah, I want to hear what this person has to say. And that became this Fortnite festival thing. And I promise you, this will not be the last of it. They're going to go around. They're going to go around to all the Dream Hacks, all the PAXs, all of those relevant tournaments, or sorry, relevant, big events. And they're going to do larger and smaller and medium-sized versions of this. And I think it's awesome.
I mean, we all saw the Fortnite E3 booth. I mean, fucking gigantic theme park at E3. Epic is insane, whether it's the parties or their booths at major conventions or their own events. I mean, the World Cup finals are in New York City next month. So I'm going to have another firsthand look at what is probably going to be some fucking enormous, ridiculous event set up by Epic Games for Fortnite. So I am totally with you that they're going to continue down that path. But I do think they don't really care because they're making money and it's not coming from viewership and like selling sponsors on viewership. But they still want people watching. And a 72% drop is still a lot of. It's still they still had 500,000 concurrent viewers, but it's not 2 million. And although they don't care as much, I think they will look it over. I do think the World Cup is actually going to be a really good example. I don't know how many World Cup players are going to be able to stream at the World Cup. I think that's important.
When and where is that?
It's in New York City, the finals. For $30 million, the $30 million Fortnite World Cup finals are next month. But in terms of the viewership, it's going to come down to how many players want to stream while they're competing for $30 million. And how many players are going to stream, or how many players have the bandwidth to stream at this event in New York for whatever internet is going to be available at the fucking WTA tennis court.
You keep coming down to viewership.
Well, that's what the topic is. It doesn't mean that it's not important. You keep saying it doesn't matter, and I agree with you. But it does because one, this is a topic that we're talking about, and two, they still want more people to watch so that they buy stuff. The more people that are watching, the more likelihood they're going to go buy a new skin or spend money in the game. So it's not totally irrelevant to the statistics. Just because people show up in person doesn't mean they don't need people watching online. And I'd say that's even more so if they're going to be giving away $100 million in prize money, which they had for the Fortnite World Cup. So if they're giving away $30 million in prize money, yeah, it's just another marketing expense. It's not a big deal considering how much money they make anyway. But they'd rather more people watching than not. And this will come down to who is streaming and co-streaming at the World Cup.
Do you think that they are purposefully trying to get notable people and encourage them to stream or co-stream during these events?
What was that?
Like, do you think that that's sort of an internal initiative that they're going out and contacting all of these players and say, hey, like, can you co-stream? Can you also stream here while you're playing in the finals or while you're playing at Pro-Am?
Well, it's mutually beneficial because the players
I'm not
get
saying,
to stream.
I'm not asking whether or not it's mutually beneficial.
From what
I'm just asking if you think that that's something that they're pushing internally.
Internally.
Yeah, internally. Like, is there like a team dedicated to like, okay, well, here's the list of, influential streamers or players or whatever, top players that are going to be here. Who's in charge of reaching out to them and asking them if they'll, co-stream? Because what you mentioned earlier about why you said that you sort of glossed over it, but you said that you sort of mentioned that one of the reasons why you thought that viewership was down was because of the venue that they used, because the internet in there was limited, and it's non-trivial to sort of bring that type of bandwidth into a venue that is not built for that. So it's hard to support all of these streamers if you haven't like planned for it.
So what I'll say is I do not know. offhand. It is something that I did try to find out, and as we lead up to New York, I am specifically going to find out this answer. If Epic is reaching out to people directly, and if they have a team involved that is going to handle people streaming there. I reached out to a few people that were playing this weekend, and I'm waiting back to hear what they said. So I will find out by the time we come back next week.
All right, there we go. That's my journalist. My journalist slasher. Who's
you
a
are
good
right.
Journalist.
Probably
Who's
the
a good journalist?
Best point you've made all show. Good job, Gutex. Thank you.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. All right. Well,
Well, we're kind of getting to the end here. We could talk about the 10. I didn't look at it at all.
Okay. Well, in lighter news, I don't know why Slasher considers himself a source on this particular one, but there was a 16-year-old girl named Pit Viper. Wow. There was a 16-year-old girl named Pit Viper 1911 that won. I believe she's from Denver, if I'm not mistaken. She won her local and qualified for CEO. Nico, can you play this video that Slasher stole from somebody else?
In the FGC.
Possible.
No.
Okay. Maybe he cannot.
It is possible. Anyway, it's just cool.
There is no link. Okay. All right. I'm definitely looking at the link, but okay. I will paste that in the chat.
Yeah, so she won the final. She was playing a Lucky Chloe against a Jin player, and I saw the footage, and she's great. She's a great player. Like, to win, she actually whiff punished the Jin and did like a full combo to get max damage or whatever. And the look on her face when she won as well was just so heartwarming. She was clearly very surprised and shocked about what had just happened. And her opponent was very good-natured in return as well. Like, he was laughing and congratulating her as well. And she wins a trip to CEO, which is a tournament coming up at the end of this month where she will be competing. Keep an eye out for her there.
The thing that I took away the most in this is that after I tweeted this, I tagged her in the post, and she ended up liking some posts, and the ones that she liked the most were the ones that said, "Oh, it was just a local; it's not a big deal." And I think that signifies that she doesn't consider this a thing, and that it won't be a big deal until she could do it at CEO, like a tournament, like a real major. Her chances of winning obviously are close to zero. But I think she's probably hoping for
I'll break it out.
Top 16, maybe top 8 would be insane. I don't think the realistic chance of that happening is probably quite low. But just the story in general, I think, is really cool. And I hope for the best for her as CEO.
Hey, winning a local can be a big deal still. She shouldn't downplay it, or people shouldn't downplay that. Being the best in your city, especially if you're in a major city where there's a lot of talent to beat. So, may this be the start of a long and fruitful career for her in the FGC.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh yeah, you could play the video. You can play the video.
Yeah, play the video. We can talk over it.
Yeah, we can talk over it.
It warms my cold black heart to see a young person with winning their local, and the expression on her face, which I guess is broken, but I don't know.
We're not buffering the video.
All right, well, anyways, the link is in the chat. If you just look up Pit Viper 1911, you'll find it. Kudos to her. It sort of brightened my morning a little bit today, and I think that she's probably going to inspire a whole host of other young women to sort of, I don't know, give fighting games a chance or whatever. I don't know. But I think it's really, I think it's really cool. And you're an asshole, Rod. It doesn't matter how she does at CEO. What matters is that she won her local and now she gets to go. And Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to get to the tournament before you can win it. And the reality is that as a competitive player, you must understand that it's all about incremental progress because it's about the journey, not the destination. It's about the process, not the outcome.
Dude, how are you
And
giving me fucking shit about this? I want her
because
to
you
do well. She tweets saying that it was just a local.
Yeah, but then you said there's like 0% chance that she's gonna win CEO.
Okay,
Like you didn't need to say
right.
that, man.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
fair, fine.
it doesn't matter what the odds are of her winning her first major. It's not that you're wrong. It's that you're.
I'm just.
It's that you're. It's just that you're missing. No, it's really that like you never really competed at that level.
Oh my fucking god! What are you talking about?
I just don't think that you either that or I don't know. You just lost touch.
I would rather you go back to the other take. No. We're going back to the fucking take that I'm an asshole. That is more believable than me not playing at this level.
What was the last? Tell me. I don't know.
Ryan, I've won a tournament closer to now than you have.
What does that have to do with remembering that it's about the process and incremental improvement, Rod?
Yes, that's true. That part is totally correct. I was just, having to let you know that between both of us, I won a major or semi-major tournament and the closer time span than you have. But you are definitely right. Incremental improvement is the cornerstone of getting to where you want to be. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just want to use this opportunity where you're both not talking to point out that sometimes, like, UIU does this program called UIU Go, where they send a player to a major who otherwise would not have had the chance to go and participate. And they don't send them there because they, like, want them to win or put pressure on them to be like, hey, we paid for your trip and hotel here, like, you better win. It's not about that. It's about giving players the opportunity to experience what it's like competing on a big stage at a big tournament where there are high-level players there for you to play against. And it's different to playing at your local and training in your own bedroom on your console. Like that experience, I think, will be very valuable for her. And, that hopefully leads to other things as well.
100%. You're not going to nobody wins the first tournament that they go to. It doesn't matter whether it's your local or a major or even, it doesn't matter. Like, there's levels to this, Rod, which I think that you have forgotten at some point along the way because you've been out of touch for so long with the competitive scene. Like, you have to understand that, like, you have to first go to the tournament. You're not necessarily going to do very well. Obviously you don't. You made that perfectly clear. What I'm saying is that anything that she does now at CEO is great because the next major she goes to, such as Evo, now she can sort of start to step up and get better and better and better and better because nobody just becomes the best overnight. It's a process. We're not debating
on this. I totally agree with everything that you're saying, though, and nothing that you said is something that I disagree with.
Okay.
All right. I'm glad we agree to agree.
How we've gotten to here. All I know is that finally someone might be able to teach Zorine how to get better at Tekken. So I think it's the great if Zorine could go to Pit Viper here and have a direct tutor that maybe to help her that in that self-improvement thing that Ryan was talking about, so Zorine can get for the next tournament Zorine goes to.
Hey, look, if there's anyone who's going to teach me how to get better at these games, it would be these 16-year-old kids with nothing but time to spend on these games. All right, time is the most valuable resource of them all, and I am definitely lacking that right now. So if there's a shortcut I can take, I will definitely take it.
The shortcut Zorine is to take the long road because there is no shortcut. And if time is of the essence, then that means that your training must be more effective, ever more effective, because just sitting around grinding games all day like you did when you were 16 is not an option anymore.
Sad but true.
All right. We don't have a blow up of the week.
Well, that was like the feel good moment of the week, which I almost prefer more than blow up. But we have such a good illustration of us for blow up of the week. I feel like we need to have one.
Okay, well, let's think of that for a moment. Blow up of the week. And in the meantime, we can talk briefly about this 10-cent thing, even though, admittedly,
I haven't read it.
We haven't dug too deep in it.
But that doesn't matter. We're on the internet, so we could read a sentence and just, make a grand statement about the entire 18 pages of information. We feel it's just the same.
100%, we could do that, but I'm not personally going to. So that's on you. But our good buddy Arlith gave us a tip that from at ZoogEX Daniel Ahmad says, we just put out 2 free reports today. The first one is 10-cent game strategy for 2019. And the second one is the NetEase game strategy for 2019. These, I don't exactly know what Nico Partners is or who these people are, but
he's an industry veteran. He always has great information on Twitter. He's very reputable.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff as well. I also vouch for him.
So he's part of Nico Partners, and they created this strategy for both of them.
Is that what it is? Is it for 10-cent, or is it just about 10-cent?
I don't know. I was the one saying I didn't know anything, and then you guys all of a sudden claim to be experts.
That's who Nico Partners is. I'm just saying, is it a report about 10-cent, or is it a report like in partnership with them that was paid for by 10-cent? And I don't.
Right. That's the part.
I feel like I think it's an independent report. I don't think it was made in cooperation with 10-cent.
I mean, it does say this report describes the bold strategy for games that 10-cent has disclosed. So it sounds like this is something that they had created independently and based on stuff that, information that they had available. Either way, it's not super long, so I'm going to take a look at it later. But what I did do, because we were pressed for time, was I used the good old Control F to try to search for 2 words.
Esports.
Bitcoin.
I can't tell if you guys are trolling or just wildly misguided. I'm going to assume that you guys are trying to troll because nobody should be that misguided.
Well, go on then. Don't keep us in suspense.
Yeah.
The 2 words were fighting and Capcom. And so if
Why?
you control, because if we're short for time, I want to see what's relevant to me.
For me.
I don't give a fuck about you. Just kidding. He gets really sensitive when I say that.
Dude, Ryan has been so mean to me the entire week that I was at his apartment at E3.
Mm-hmm.
He kept saying such negative things about me.
Was it like along the lines of keep it down, it's 3 a.m. and people are trying to sleep?
No, that one was actually fine. But he said other mean things about me, and I don't know. I'm very self-conscious now.
I know. This cold shell exterior is actually to mask your deep-rooted insecurities.
Damn, that hit a little bit close to home.
That doesn't make me feel good.
Well,
I don't feel very good.
Well, here's the thing, Rod. Maybe you just didn't have enough people to tell you to be straight with you and tell you what was up. And that's why you're in the position that you're in. Where
No, now I just feel worse than I did before.
you're
Now
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm gonna make no effort to change anything. I'm just gonna feel really bad.
I know. I'm
Okay.
sure there are lots of people that in your past that would agree and know that you're not trolling, you're being legit. All right.
Okay,
Anyways,
that makes me feel even worse. I'm gonna have to take a timeout. Call it a timeout.
He's actually leaving. No, Slasher, come back. All right, we've lost him.
all right. Well, anyways, in my
Again.
in my search for fighting and Capcom in the Tencent report, of which thanks Chris of Coins has popped that into the chat, and we'll pop the other one in there. But if you scroll to page 8 of this this document, it says very interesting.
Whoa, that is interesting. Holy cow, I didn't know about some of these.
PUBG Mobile is a great example of localization. It says, okay, Tencent is the top partner of choice for game localization in China, with foreign publishers such as Activision, EA, Take-Two, blah, 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 all working with Tencent to localize and publish their IP in China. They've also started to deepen its partnerships. PUBG Mobile is a great example of this. Tencent's internal studios have developed it. The game has been a hit for Tencent on the global stage. Gross revenues nearly 400 million. They also obtained a license for the Call of Duty franchise from Activision and is developing Call of Duty Mobile for a global audience. Okay, that's news to me.
Wow.
Street Fighter Online is another self-developed title. Wait, oh, fuck on. Street Fighter Online is another self-developed title where the IP has been licensed from Capcom.
What? Have you heard of this game, Gutek? Street Fighter Online?
I have not.
A self-developed title. Huh. Wow. So Tencent's making their own version of Street Fighter, and they're calling it Street Fighter Online.
Correct.
That
Hear
is
that, Rod?
actually that is mind-blowing information.
That's pretty cool.
Why did we not talk about this first?
I don't know. You guys, Rod wanted to talk about how the viewership of Fortnite parties matters.
I didn't read it. What do you mean I didn't want to fucking talk about it? We only added it in at the end, and I didn't fucking read the whole thing.
I know. It's okay. This is why one of us had to save some time and just cut straight to the chase.
Wow, this is a big chase indeed.
Yeah. So,
and it's licensed.
Yeah. Self-developed by Tencent's internal studios, making Street Fighter Online. I mean, the way it's written also is interesting too, because they make it sound like it's been out for a while. Like, I feel like I'd last to know on this.
I just Google searched this and there's nothing. I can't find anything. So
yeah,
obviously
there is nothing.
There's no like.
Wow, what are the odds? Some Google search that didn't.
When
really
did this
turn
report
up.
come out?
I think it came out today. Or hold on, let me look. Actually,
hang on.
Let me tell you, because
I am going to contact the.
I just found something for Street Fighter Online, and it's like from 2005. So I don't know if it's the same thing. Holy crap! There's a trailer for this.
What are you talking about?
There's an official trailer for Street Fighter Online 2.0.
What? Are you serious?
Street Fighter Online 2.0? What?
Yeah.
What?
It came out in 2017.
What?
The trailer? I'm so
What the
confused.
hell?
What is happening right now?
Unlisted. Whoa. You know this is unlisted, right?
Yes, I know.
It just looks like.
How'd you find it?
Through the website. That's called X-Men versus Street Fighter Online. Is this like a fan-made thing? I'm so confused what's happening now. This might not even be the official one.
I don't know. I'm 25 seconds into it.
I'm asking the person that made the report about this.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, that look new game features. So there's like Capcom characters, Marvel characters.
This has to be it then, right?
I don't know. I have no. This
Okay,
is all new
like
to me.
For example, there is a Call of Duty Online, which exists in China, separate from the mainstream Call of Duty franchise.
Yeah,
it
that's
could
what I said. But did you already know about that?
The Street Fighter thing, you mean?
No. Call of Duty.
Yeah, I knew that was. That's already been. That's been a thing for a while.
All right. Well, apparently this has been a thing too, and it's interesting because this Street Fighter Online 2.0, like it's not even doesn't even use the same logo.
But they use all the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously they have permission to do that.
Assuming that this looks like the thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna say that this is real until proven otherwise.
That's a safe way to do it.
I messaged the dude who made the report asking him.
Yeah, maybe this is just like some really old browser fighting game that we
it might
just,
be
like,
a mention of
kind of like completely.
Maybe, yeah. And who knows? All I know is that if you scroll to page 9, it says Tencent currently dominates the free-to-play PC and mobile games market, but has not had a large presence in the buy-to-play space on PC, mobile, and console. That sort of suggests to me that this is a free-to-play Street Fighter online thing, fighting game, that somebody out there, I guess, thought this was a good idea. So kudos to China and Tencent for launching this stuff.
Great job.
Behind the great Chinese firewall. In August 2018, Tencent launched Capcom's Monster Hunter World on the Wii Games Store. 1 million pre-orders, but every user was refunded after 1 week after regulators ordered Tencent to remove the game as it did not comply with content regulations. The game has yet to relaunch on the platform nearly 1 year later, likely because the game was resubmitted for approval during the temporary game license approval freeze and has not been reviewed yet. Huh. Interesting. Well, yeah, those were the 2 mentions about Capcom in this Tencent thing. That's crazy. Well, I don't know if any of that will ever come over here, but I did find that there was an entire Street Fighter game launched in China, probably free to play, developed by Tencent that like nobody knows about. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's super interesting too. I'm definitely going to investigate this more.
Well, no one knows about the Call of Duty game, so it's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, T. Kimura says Street Fighter Online is fan made, and I mean, if it's a fan game, I mean that's. Why? I don't know. Well, this report says that it's licensed by Capcom, so.
You mean licensed by Tencent from?
Right.
Capcom.
Sorry. Yeah. Licensed by Tencent for Capcom. They obtained a license for Call of Duty and Street Fighter. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we have a blow up? Okay. Not really, right?
I found an okay one. I remember that I found.
Mild explosion of the week.
It's not a huge blow up. It's really not. But I am open to ideas of.
I didn't see that.
Apparently we do have one.
We do?
All right, let it rock. Oh, let it rock in a few minutes.
Nico's looking for it.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all the blowups this week probably took place not in the public.
Yeah. All the
that
blowups.
that was the real
That's
blowup.
A lot of personal blowups.
Yeah, personal blowups, no shortage of that.
I hope my link isn't the thing you're showing, because it is a blowup. I mean, it's funny, I gotta say. But do you have is this a different one, Nico, or is this this?
What the hell?
Okay, same blowup. Okay, got it. This was Slasher's blowup, right? This was yours.
Yeah, this is my blowup.
All right. It appears as though Overwatch League is sort of pivoting from
Well, you spoke about it.
boosting views by embedding streams in the bottom of Cursed and some wiki pages, and instead has just completely shifted gears to just straight up low cut shirt clickbait.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not much different than the just chatting section. So,
So,
it is Twitch appropriate content. We're
did
talking
they
about Twitch appropriate content.
respond to this at all? I'm curious what the hell happened here.
No, they did not say anything. They had not said anything. A bunch of people got this too. It wasn't just me.
What the hell? How does that happen?
I don't get it. What happened? It looks like it's just a thumbnail from when
they were streaming on Twitter live like we are right now.
And that's
somehow this is the thumbnail that started the broadcast.
Huh.
For a lot of people.
Well,
I'm not complaining. I think it's a good thumbnail. I think like of all the thumbnails, you couldn't have made like a better one for Overwatch League. I mean, people have their own personal fancy what they fancy the most. So thumbnail could have been better in a few different ways, but I think it's solid.
Necessity is the mother of invention. And I guess they needed the views.
I mean, Overwatch League really does need the views, honestly.
That's hilarious.
By any means necessary. These shareholders are getting mad. How are we gonna sell Call of Duty World franchises for fucking $40 million if Overwatch League is falling apart? We need more views. Does anybody have any ideas what we can do to get some more views around here? Excuse me. We could probably pay Twitch a little bit extra money to, sort of feature us on the front page and then embed all of these players onto all of these different bits. No, we tried that. What about boobs? Brilliant. Who are you, kid? Get this kid a corner office. This kid is going places.
Give me titties. Give me titties.
It sounds even better with your weird
It really does sound so fucking good with your microphone.
Well, shout outs to Blue for just completely changing the entire vibe of the show.
It's almost
now, I can't wait for you guys to get your mics. It's gonna be great.
I'm excited.
I mean, now I feel like I'd been held back before with old equipment, but now I feel like the sky's the limit. Gutex ASMR. Oh man, like check out these hitbox combos. Let me read you some frame data. Oh, now I'll just tell you about what to do on Wake Up. After hours here on Cross Counter.
Dude, tell me about Wake Up.
Oh God, I'm gonna leave.
Zareen, you're like our target audience right now. You're the test subject.
Yeah, you're about to go to sleep, Zoreen. What do you
Yeah.
want to? Yeah.
Serene, what did you think we were talking about? That is really not cool of you to go down any different path than just going to bed. That's what ASMR is for. That's what ASMR category was meant to be. It is strictly only going to sleep. That is the only sole reason that people listen and watch to ASMR. There is no other connotation that you could have from this type of content than just
I think it worked. I think the ASMR is working.
Is she
I think
is she asleep?
she just fell asleep.
I think she's asleep.
Oh, she's awake. Oh, what happened? Did I
Oh.
wake you up? All these buttons didn't. No, not doing it for you. Oh, she's muted.
Oh yeah, Rod's microphone kind of cancelled the effects of anything that you were trying to text. So really, there was no effect at all. Like it just completely leveled out. And
Are there tag team ASMR streams? Is this going to be
oh
a
my
thing?
god,
Oh
I'm
my god, that's such a good idea. God,
it's not
that is-
even you're not. It's not even an original idea. I feel so.
No.
I mean, I would watch a tag team ASMR.
I mean,
That-
we already talked
help
about the
me-
value of
help me
tag
to sleep.
teams on the show.
Yeah, we did. Let's just carry that theme on. Okay. Well, if we're done here, I'm just going to.
Is this nightmare fuel right here for you, Zoe?
Yeah, what's the opposite of ASMR?
I don't know. Suggestions chat.
The wake up call? I don't know. The want to make you leave call?
I think we've surely creeped Zorine out, and that the show.
No, I think my tolerance for you two has reached a point where that's not even possible, given how long we've known each other.
Progress, you know.
Thank you. That's what a real friend is. That's a real friend.
I keep it real for you guys.
Okay, are we done?
Yeah.
It's
All right,
3.
We're done.
We're done.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you to XSplit for helping to power the Untitled Esports show. Thank you to Nico for producing, and Lewis for trying to help.
Putting out the fires when we needed him.
Put it out the fires. Put it out the fires.
Thank
because
you.
we all tried to fly too close to the sun. Thanks to Blue for supplying these microphones. I believe next time we do this show, I'm pretty sure Zorine and Slasher will have Blue microphones of their own.
cannot wait to have a Blue microphone. It is going to be fucking incredible. If
All
you
right.
think this is good, then you just wait till Blue is sponsoring this show with all of us.
Yeah, I think we got a bright future in tag team ASMR, dude.
Ooh, fuck yeah, we do. We're gonna fucking tag team these people right to sleep. Right in the.
I am going to make
Right.
an ASMR video at Evo, and it's going to be great. I'm going to direct it and produce it, and you two are going to be the stars.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's only fair, you know. Sometimes you're the face. Sometimes I'm the face. Hopefully, we don't get denied media badges. Yeah, it'll be great. Also, if you guys don't know, you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app, whether it's the Apple Podcasts, I believe they're killing iTunes, or Spotify, or whatever. You can go to anchor.fm/Untitled Esports Show. Links are there. Zorine, where do people go for more Zorine between now and next time?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, before we end the show, I'm just gonna say
you need to actually pull that away from your. This fucking microphone cannot come sooner. You guys have no idea.
I'm sorry.
It's been
I
10
just wanted
years.
to say because I had someone was watching the show tonight, Look, I'll go first, and Zareen can go second because it would be good part of the story. Okay, Zareen, is that cool? Okay.
Yeah.
So I did this like interview for like this documentary coming out for esports next year, and Mr. Gutex here is going to be doing that too because it's going to be great. Anyway,
am I?
So,
How the fuck am I going to do that?
So one of the people that I've been talking to, I sent them the link to the show because I wanted to show them what we normally do on this show. Oh. And they had been watching the show, but they started watching halfway through. And I told this person, well, if you wanted to see like how the show really was supposed to go, you should start from the beginning of this episode because we actually went like, we started really good this time, and I wanted you to check it out. And the first line back, as someone who just now went back to the beginning and watched the beginning half of it, says, "Okay, so I actually also do believe that 9/11 was an inside job."
I just wish things had not come to this.
All right. Well, now that we're on the same page on that, you can feel free to tell your esports documentary people to reach out to me because
he has a whole other documentary idea for him, apparently.
That's the real documentary right there. Slasher investigates 9/11. It goes down that rabbit hole and then comes out a more, educated, thoroughly researched journalist.
Can't bloody wait.
Okay.
Anyway,
you know what? I
was on the fence about doing it. No joke. I was on the fence about doing it, but now that I have that little piece of information, I'm all about it.
I give up. I think everyone in the world is insane. I think there's no. Actually, no. Sorry. I'm insane. I've realized. I see the light now. I'm a fucking idiot. Everyone else is right. I don't know what to even do anymore.
So
you're only an idiot if you refuse to look objectively at evidence that is presented.
Yeah, of course. No, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
I don't want to do this whole thing again, okay? Because it took up the first 30 minutes of the show, and quite frankly, I think we're kind of beating a dead horse by this point. But XSplit just did crash, which means that you have to stare at my mug for the next few minutes as we do our outro. But hey, luckily my handle is right here. This is where you can find me on Twitter, and I'm Team Zorine on Twitch, and I'm Team Zorine on Instagram. So thank you.
Congratulations, the newly partnered Team Zorine Twitch channel.
Zorine. That's so cute, yo! Congratulations, Zorine. Congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Slasher, where do people go for the world's most ignorant 9/11 truther?
Fuck me. For the world's most ignorant 9/11 truther, go to twitter.com/Gutex, twitter.com/Gutex, twitch.tv/crosscountertv. You want your fucking stupid bullshit takes on 9/11, please go all there to find the best info. If you want a fucking real dummy, you can go to Slasher. Just Slasher. Just Google Slasher, and you'll find me.
Well, you can find me on the latest esports documentaries, the Trainwrecks TV podcast, and most importantly, on the payroll of Activision Blizzard, so that I can continue talking about my favorite game, Overwatch League, and get paid at the same time. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to XSplit. Thank you to Blue for making me now
so
my forgotten ASMR passion. And subscribe to the podcast. Look it up on iTunes, Spotify. Listen to podcasts. And we will catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.